Gronk.
What up, TB?
What do you think my next move should be? Give it to me straight. Maybe it's just time I hang him up.
I got one word for you. Retirement. If you retire now, you're gonna be walking on soft sand in a week.
Just come to Florida and
Feel the wind in your hair. Retirement is like winning another one. Maybe I'll even join you.
On the Spotty Network, this is what Tom heard.
If you retire now, you're soft and weak.
just come to Florida and win another one.
Maybe I'll even join you.
Just go win another one.
Like it's that easy, Gronk. Maybe it is. I still feel like I have a lot to accomplish.
My goal is to win one more.
And Gronk's coming with me.
I'm retired from retiring? Mom, where are my football pants?
Don't trust big decisions to just any network. Go with T-Mobile, the GO in 5G.
And I'm not soft or weak either.
T-Mobile is the leader in 5G.
UFOS Active Recovery. Because life keeps you on your toes. Because you want to shine when you rise. UFOM technology absorbs impact with every step, so your body doesn't have to. Because standing still gets you nowhere. Get yours today at ufos.com. Feel better. Feel the U.
My family earns respect.
My family clears bases.
My family breaks records.
My family wins MVPs.
My family gives everything.
My family makes history. My family wins championships.
There's no family.
There's no family. There's no family.
There's no family like my family.
Join the fam.
Join the fam.
Join the fam.
Broadcasting live from Judy Walden Scarefile Field at McKeon Park, we welcome you inside the Tim Elstrom Broadcast Center for today's matchup between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Falmouth Commodores. Austin Nakuda joined by Zach Berman. Today we're without our partner Drake Toll, who's a bit under the weather. So Zach, you and I get to witness a West Division battle between two rivals in the Harbor Hawks and the Commodores, who have had two very different seasons, starting off with the Hawks, who came off another win last night in an impressive victory in Chatham.
Well, the more things change, the more things stay the same. After the power display in Katuitt on Tuesday night, it was back to the basics for Hyannis against the Anglers last night. All 7 of their runs, more of the same. Good hitting with runners in scoring position, taking advantage of mistakes by the other teams. 4 errors from Chatham last night. A big bases loaded single by Cole McConnell, and of course the pitching. Jackson Baumeister was huge. Jordy Allard was fantastic. And how about Tommy O'Rourke, who played a big part in yesterday's game? But today, the Harbor Hawks are going to turn to a guy that's come out of the pen most of the season and has been quite impressive in Zach Volker to be their starting man tonight.
Yeah, Zach Volker, as you mentioned, Zach Berman, he has been the guy in long inning relief for the Harbor Hawks this season. They've turned to him when they've needed 3-4 innings, and he's delivered when they've needed it most. So we'll get to see him as a starter tonight. Somebody who's in the transfer portal looking to impress some scouts as we get the first pitch thrown out here at McKeon Park. And we're going to toss it down to the field for the National Anthem live from McKeon Park.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please welcome this week's Harbor Hawk baseball playing participants to McKeon Park tonight. They're coming out on the field now. Give them a huge round of applause. They are the future of baseball. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and remove your hats and join us up here in the booth as Katie Sanborn sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The conclusion of the national anthem here at McKeon Park means we are just moments away from first pitch, and a pitch that a very special guest is in the house to witness tonight. It's Nick Witgren, a right-handed pitcher from the major leagues, coming back to witness the Harbor Hawks, a team he played with in 2011. Nick has gone on to play 7 years in the Bigs, and I was able to catch up with him in today's Dugout Show. Let's take a look at the interview with Nick.
Through the minor leagues and then in the major.
Hello and welcome into today's Dugout Show. I'm Austin Akuta, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, right-handed pitcher Nick Witgren, who spent time with the Hawks in 2011 and has now gone on to pitch a few years in the major leagues. Nick, thank you for taking time to join us today at McKeon Park, and welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be back.
So you've been in the majors now for a few years. You've had stops in Miami, Cleveland, and St. Louis, but before that, how did this experience here in Cape Cod prepare you for that long MLB career that you've had?
It was awesome. I mean, just playing basically every day, hanging out with different guys that eventually you're going to cross paths with through the minor leagues and then in the major leagues as well, and you become close friends with them. It's an awesome preparation, and it's just great that this league is so well developed and just well known.
And one of the things that makes the Cape League unique is the schedule that's so rigorous, 44 games in about 50 days or so. Do you remember back in your playing time here how you remained fresh day to day as a reliever and being able to keep up with that tight schedule?
Really, you just kind of find your own. It's kind of one of those, it helps you in the long run, because then you go back to college where not as rigorous, and then once when you do get drafted and stuff, then it becomes a little just like, and you're like, oh, I've done this before, so it's awesome.
And then one of the other things too that a lot of the guys talk about is spending their off days on Cape Cod, because you're in such a fun place to hang out and there's so much around here. You remember anything that you did during your off time here in the Cape?
Oh yeah, my host family, Dan and Wendy Johnson, they're awesome. We went deep sea fishing one day, then we went out to Sandy Neck another. And then we went and played golf, which he'll never let me live down, that he beat me and it was bad round. But yeah, there's just tons to do, and it's so much fun. And then go to the beach and just hang.
And as I mentioned, you've spent some time with Cleveland, Miami, St. Louis. Is there any point where you were heading up throughout your career that you kind of were starstruck or faced off against a player when you're on the mound and you're kind of made it real for you? Any kind of players you looked up to growing up?
I mean, as soon as I got to Miami and made my debut, Barry Bonds was our pitching coach. Don Mattingly was our head manager. And then I was playing with Ichiro and a bunch of those guys. So it was kind of that kind of struck me. And then, obviously playing with Albert, Yachty, Waino this year and stuff was awesome and amazing. It's kind of those guys that I watched when I was little and got to play with or against. That is kind of cool.
Well, thank you very much, Nick, and welcome back to McKeon Park. On Austin Akuta here on the Dugout Show. We'll send it back to the booth. Thank you very much once again to Nick Witgren, MLB pitcher, reliever, who has spent 7 seasons in the Bigs, for joining us pregame. And Nick had some valuable advice for the guys as he threw a bullpen today in left field. And A lot of the pitchers took that in, and for a guy who spent part of this season, just a couple of weeks ago, he was with the Cardinals, with Adam Wainwright, Yadi Molina. He had a lot to share with the team. We'll see if they take that into today's matchup against the Commodores, as the first pitch from Zach Volker is a called strike. 0-1 the count to the leadoff man, Alex Mooney. We'll get to the Commodore lineup in just a moment after Mooney's at bat, but he comes in here batting .269 on the year with 8 runs batted in. Here comes the windup from Volker in the 0-1. That one's hit on the ground to third. Jeb plays it easily. Throw across the diamond is in time to Philip Matulia. 1 up, 1 down. And let's take a look at the rest of the Commodore starting lineup. As we mentioned, Alex Mooney, the shortstop we just saw, followed by Colby Halter, the second baseman in the 3 spot today. Andrew Pinckney, the center fielder. Batting cleanup is Jacob Walsh, the first baseman, followed by Josiah Cromwick, the catcher. Batting 6, Drew Brutcher, the right fielder. Corey Collins, the DH in the 7 spot today. Anthony McKenzie over at 3rd and batting 8th. And then batting 9th, Luke Boyers, the left fielder. Harbor Hawks defense, Christian Moore in left. Cole McConnell in center. Rocco Pepe in right. The infield, Jeb, Patelli, Riku, and Phil Matulia over at first base, with Poncho Ruiz doing the catching for Zach Volker, as Volk blows a fastball by Halter. 0-1.
Well, if there's anybody in this Commodore lineup that you want to watch out and be careful with, it's Colby Halter, who has had, I'd say, one of the better last 2 weeks on Cape Cod. He's already up to 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, and an average of .333.
That's that one to left field. Running after it is Christian Moore. It's going to be over his head. Halter puts one opposite field, and he's going to jog into second base with a 1-out double, as Moore couldn't get to it. It was over his head, and the Commodores are threatening early.
Well, no sooner was and I said anything, 3rd double of the year for Mr. Halter. He has been absolutely fantastic, and he's been a huge contributor in this Commodore lineup.
Well, now Volker's going to have to deal with the 3-hitter, Andrew Pinckney, somebody who's got just as much pop in his bat. He had a stellar season at Alabama. He's the starting center fielder for the Commodores, and he is just that for the Crimson Tide as well, as he didn't make a single error out in center field for Alabama in the spring. First pitch to Pinckney, called strike. There's Volker's slider. It's a good one, too. Volker on the year, 14 2/3 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts, and just a .61 earned run average, so that is indeed pretty good.
No, he has been, since that opening day game in Wareham, he's been fantastic.
Just a 1 earned run as a breaking ball gets Pinckney ahead, 0-2 with 1 away. Runner on seconds, Halter after his double. As I mentioned, Pinckney has some pop in his bat, 4 homers, 12 runs batted in, but he's up against it now as Volker's firing strikes early on. 6 pitches, 6 strikes for the right-hander, formerly from Long Beach State. Volk comes set. We'll glance over at second and bring home the 0-2. Fastball, it's popped up. Shallow right field, Nishida trots back, puts the glove up, makes the catch for out number 2. A couple of pop-ups there, and that one is in fair territory for out number 2.
That's a really good job there by Volker. One of the better hitters in this lineup, and you fool him, get him off pace with that breaking pitch, and then put something right up in on his hands. Easy pop-up.
With 2 down and a man in scoring position, that brings up Jacob Walsh, the first baseman. For the first time tonight, he's been in that cleanup spot for much of the year for the Commodores, and somebody with just, again, good pop in his bat. That's one of the consistent pieces to this team, is each guy can put the ball over the fence. Poncho Ruiz behind the plate tonight. That first pitch, foul tipped, hung on to by Poncho for strike 1. We saw the debut of Jorge Corona last night, and he impressed. Jorge steps into the number 2 catcher spot here in Hyannis as Jacob Campbell departs for the draft.
Now, Jorge was fantastic yesterday, too. Impressed the plate, had a couple good at-bats as single. He had one phenomenal defensive play that I'll describe in a bit.
Called strike, 0-2. A nice fastball by Volker, just caught the outside corner.
Well, it was an error. It was a play that got away from everybody, and Jorge Corona decided to hustle almost to the Hyannis dugout and threw a guy out at second. And it was a really amazing, it was a heads-up play, and it was something that immediately catches your eye and goes, okay, this guy's here to kick some butt.
Here comes the 0-2. That one's hit to center field. Cole McConnell has it played perfectly, puts up the glove, and makes the catch for the out. The Harbor Hawks with a good first inning thanks to right-hander Zach Volker. He does allow a double, but strands the man at second base as we have no score heading to the bottom of the first on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
Hey, Mama, what's up?
Did you switch my service from Verizon to T-Mobile? Yep.
T-Mobile has the only nationwide 5G.
Well, Mr. Know-It-all, let's see if you right about that.
Mama. Hey, Mama, I'm working.
It works at the pie shop.
T-Mobile's 5G works inside and out. Hey, what you need, Mama? I'm trying to watch the game with my boys.
It works in the park.
Oh, okay. Mama?
It works at the aquarium, in the parking garage, at the beach, in the elevators. It works in the movie theater, too. Oh, shush yourself. I'm talking to my baby.
You're driving me crazy.
I was just calling you to say thank you, baby. I love you.
I love you too, Mama. Yes, Mama.
It works in the kitchen.
Tell Mama.
Mama?
5G, it works in the club.
Who are you in a club with?
All about it. Tell Mama.
Welcome back inside McKeon Park. Austin Nakuda alongside Zach Berman for today's battle. And the Commodores came up scoreless in the first, top of the first that is, even though they mustered a double. But now the Harbor Hawks coming up to the dish looking to do some damage. And let's take a look at the Hyannis lineup tonight, starting off with the leadoff man, Mitch Jebb, who's over at the Hawk corner. He's followed by Mike Sirota, who's at DH tonight, a relatively new face to Harbor Hawk fans. Cole McConnell in the 3 spot after a couple of big hits this week, followed by Christian Moore, who's moved up to the cleanup spot. Batting 5th, Dom Patelli, who's swinging maybe the hottest bat in Cape Cod the last couple of weeks, followed by Rocco Pepe. Batting 7th, Pancho Ruiz, the catcher. Batting 8th, Phil Matulia, who's at first base tonight. And in the 9 spot, everybody's favorite second baseman, Riku Nishida, as the Harbor Hawks will oppose the left-hander for the Commodores. Zach, what do we know about the Commodores starting lineup tonight defensively?
Well, starting lineup defensively, it's something that we've seen pretty consistently. Andrew Pinckney in center, Drake Bruncher in right. First we've seen of Luke Boyers in left, and then McKenzie at third, Mooney at short, Halter at second, Walsh at first. Everybody except for McKenzie we've seen just about consistently. For Cromwick at the plate as well. Keep an eye on Andrew Pinckney because he's been rock solid defensively, both as a member of the Alabama Crimson Tide and as a Commodore, except when he plays against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks.
Yeah, he's had a couple errors out in center field here at McKeon Park as a leadoff man. Mitch Jebb will head to the plate to oppose the left-hander from California, Drew Summers, who has pitched 12 innings this season, 7 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 16 strikeouts. He has been borderline unhittable throughout his first couple of appearances. Jebb, the left-hander, will have to face the southpaw for the first pitch, and he goes after it, fouls it off. 0-1 to the Michigan State infielder.
Well, yesterday, Mitch Jebb, after going hitless in Katuitt, had more of a Mitch Jebb-esque performance, 2 for 4 with a walk and a run scored. So
he stole 3 bases as well.
Yes, he did. That's just about the best you can ask for. 2 for 4 runs scored, 3 stolen bags. Come on.
Fouls that one off, 0-2 to Jebb. He had a historic season at Michigan State where he batted .356, was named the team MVP, as well as the Kirk Gibson Offensive Player of the Year for Michigan State, as all the accolades he racked up were just top tier. His speed combined with his contact have really elevated him, as the 0-2 from Summers is impending to Jebb. Jebb didn't strike out a ton early in the year. We'll see if he can fend off another here. Here comes the 0-2. And he skies that one to left. It's going to drift foul, and we'll have to do it again.
Now, Jebb will get behind in counts. We've seen it time and time again. But what he does, and this is really his most valuable aspect of his game, is that you have a guy in Summers that if you're the Harbor Hawks, you want to get him out of the game as soon as possible. And Mitch Jebb is going to be a guy that is going to drive his pitch count to the moon.
Summers comes set, the southpaw basically from the stretch. Here's the leg kick and the pitch. It's going to be just a bit low. 1-2 the count to Jebb, as Summers tried to shoot the corner.
Mitch Jebb, in the last week, he is first in that time span in the league with 8 stolen bases in those last 7 days, as well as 9 runs scored in his last 7 days. Those are both tops in the league.
Here comes the 1-2. Fouls it off again, and Mitch Jebb putting up quite the fight as the leadoff man, which is exactly what you want. And he has just had, did you mention, Zach, quite the span of games in the last couple of weeks. He's second in the league in stolen bases with 15. And with his speed in the 1 spot, combined with Riku Nishida's speed in the 9 hole, you have the top 2 guys in the Cape League in stolen bases, 1 and 9. So if they can get on, the Harbor Hawks like to be aggressive on the base pass. Summers comes set once more. Here comes the 1-2 from the southpaw. Jebb thought about going around, but did indeed held up as they check down with Mickey Garcia at third, and he confirms just that. Count moves to 2-2.
That's a phenomenal take there by Mitch Jebb. This team, this Hyannis Harbor Hawk team, dead last in the league in strikeouts.
So that's a good thing.
Yes, it is a very good thing.
They have struck out the least amount of times as a squad. Here comes the 2-2. Jebb hits it on the ground to short. There's Mooney. He backhands it, throw across. The diamond is in time by just a step for out number 1, but Jebb puts up a good battle, makes Summers work as he racks up 7 pitches on the ground out.
That's exactly what you want there early, to try and get Summers out of the game as quickly as possible. Work his pitch count up. You don't necessarily have to get guys on, start scoring runs this early in the game, but something you'd like to see is Mike Sirota, who has struggled a little bit since he's come over from the Brewster Whitecaps.
Sirota from Northeastern, making a 3rd consecutive start. They've put him right in the lineup, and now he's moved all the way up to the 2 hole. He had limited action with the Whitecaps in Brewster, just 11 games. He hit .250 and had a .471 on base percentage. First pitch to Sirota. He takes it the opposite way to right field. That's going to get down for at least a base hit. Big turn for Sirota. He's thinking 2. Here comes the throw from right. It is not in time. Mike Sirota's first hit as a Hawk, or second hit as a Hawk. His first extra base hit is a big-time double with 1 out here in the first.
That is a fantastic piece of hitting. And what a job by Sirota to read what Summers was throwing during that Jebb at bat and then take the first pitch opposite field right down the line. Really good swing to inside out that ball for extra bases. And now up comes Cole McConnell, who has been fantastic the last few games.
McConnell on the year now up to 285 with 2 homers, 13 runs batted in. He had a pair of solo shots at Katuitt earlier in the week, which kept the Hawks in the game and got them a point by tying. And then as that one's a called strike, McConnell last night, the big hit as well. He was all over the base pass again.
That would be 4 RBIs in the last 2 games for Cole McConnell. Last night he went 2 for 4 with a 2-run single. So needless to say, he slumped a bit. He's starting to feel it again at the plate.
1 on, 1 out here for the Hawks as they look to strike first. Here comes the 0-1 hit on the ground. Sirota's going to go. It hits him, and Mike Sirota is going to be out.
That's just a tough break. It was hit right at Sirota. He tried to jump over the ball, but it catches him right on the foot. And unfortunately, that's just baseball sometimes. Nothing you can really do about that.
Normally on a ball hit to that side, the guy on second may retreat, but it was hit slow enough where Sirota thought he could get to third. And if that ball gets by him, he is going to be safe at third, but unfortunately just couldn't get out of the way in time. So Sirota gets out. McConnell reaches on effectively what's a fielder's choice. So McConnell on first, now 2 away for Christian Moore, who's up to the cleanup spot tonight. Moore from Tennessee, a big-time power bat. Looking for his first Cape League home run. He takes a called strike by Summers. Moore, though, his plate discipline has gotten better as he's joined the Hawks. 9 walks, 14 strikeouts as he's starting to see the ball well. He has 4 runs batted in. The average not quite where you want it to be quite yet.
He was 0 for 3 last night, but he had a ball to the gap that...
And the runner goes. The pitch is outside the throw to second is in time as they get McConnell stealing to end the inning. So the Hawks had a man at second base with just 1 out, but cannot capitalize as that ends the first inning. Still scoreless from McKeon Park on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
Gannon's Tavern is the home of incredible wings, handcrafted cocktails, ice-cold beer, and Keno. Their innovative tavern menu features seafood, great sandwiches, steaks grilled to perfection, and stunning specialty dishes. There's no better place to watch your favorite New England pro football team than Gannon's Tavern, in their large bar or outside on their covered deck, complete with TV and sound. Gannon's Tavern, 959 Burses Way, Hyannis. Like them on Facebook and Instagram.
See you soon at Gannon's Tavern.
With Hood Milk, you can trust your family is getting high-quality milk in every nutritious and delicious drop. It begins here on farms that Hood selects, with farmers who uphold the highest standards and who pledge to never use artificial growth hormones. And you'll see that care continue right to your home with our Light Block bottle, which protects the fresh taste of your milk. At Hood, we never stop caring about our milk because you never stop caring about your family. Always good, always Hood.
Welcome back inside McKeon Park. Austin Dakuda and Zach Berman back with you for the top of the second inning. The Commodores get ready to send 5, 6, and 7 to the dish. Cromwick, Brutcher, and Collins as Volker return to the mound. A good first inning from Volk. He did allow a double, but really bared down. Got the next two guys out without much trouble either.
Yeah, if you're Volk, you just really, efficiency is the most important part of this game. As the Harbor Hawks, you did say what, 3-4 innings out of Volk tonight? That would be the expectation?
He might even go further. He's given them as many as 3 or 4 a couple of times. So if he's starting here on a few days rest, if he's efficient, you could see 5 innings. I don't think it'd be a stretch. So Josiah Cromwick will come to the dish, the Oregon catcher. It's been a nice addition to this Commodore lineup, has Cromwick, as he comes into this at-bat, hitting 194. Slow start, but he does have 6 hits and just 31 at-bats. So that number, a little low, but not a big sample size. Here's the windup from Volker. First pitch at the top of the second is going to be a fastball high, 1-0 the count. Dark sky starting to loom in left field as Volker's 1-0 is cut on and missed. 1-1 the count. Originally no rain in the forecast, but those skies say otherwise.
Well, man, it is, and I think we've gotten lucky without one of these days. It has been really, really sticky, humid out today, and the sky is certainly demonstrating there could be something out behind
us. The 1-1 is hit well to deep center field. McConnell's running back. He's going to pull up just in front of the warning track to make the catch for out number 1. Allowed out at that, but nonetheless it finds the glove of the LA Tech center fielder.
Well, something you want to look at, and maybe something you want to work on if you're Volker here. Halter, Walsh, Cromwick, all 3 of them hard contacts. And we saw that earlier this week with Austin Amaral, where he allowed a couple hard contacts that stayed in the yard before Katuitt wound up taking some out of the yard. So you want to start maybe cutting down on those a little bit.
Drew Brutcher goes after the first pitch, and he's behind 0-1 just like that. Some of Drew Britcher's hobbies include playing basketball, video games, and hanging out with friends. And Zach, you'll like this one. His favorite MLB team is the New York Yankees.
Well, that's always a good thing.
And Brutcher hits that one to center field again. Busy day for McConnell as he drifts in. Makes the catch, 2 up, 2 down, and 3 putouts already for Cole McConnell out in center field.
Well, every time Brutcher comes up after the last time these two teams met, you hold your breath, because in the bottom of the 9th of a 5-4 game at Gov Fuller Field a week ago, Drew Brutcher made it, well, he made it 5-1 to 5-4. He had a 3-run homer in the last matchup between these two. So you wonder how they're going to attack him.
Here comes a Georgia Bulldog by the name of Corey Collins, the designated hitter. Batting from the left side against the right-hander Volker as dark skies now take over McKeon Park as a whole. Wind blowing out pretty strong to right field. And Volker with the slider nabs the corner, 0-1. Great pitch from Volk, a pitch that he'll throw early and often.
Wouldn't be surprised the lights come on any minute.
Looks like they are starting to turn on. You can see the bulbs show a bit of brightness. Breaking ball. That one's hit to center field again. McConnell running hard to his left makes the catch. 3 outs in the top of the second inning. All 3 to Cole McConnell in center field. Coach Eric Beatty called him the best defensive center fielder he's ever seen. And by good reason, McConnell retires the side with some help from Zach Volker on the bump, as the Harbor Hawks are still scoreless at McKeon Park as we head to the bottom of the second inning.
Tastes like a Coke.
We nailed it!
Coke Zero Sugar. Have they nailed it?
Sounds like they really nailed it, huh?
Nailed it.
And that's when you said, so it really tastes like a Coke.
Yeah, that's the point.
When it comes to buying or selling a home, you need a partner, not just an agent. For over 50 years, Gibson Sotheby's International Realty has set the standard in excellence and performance. A seasoned team that has thrived throughout all markets. Our agents live and work in your neighborhood and understand you. We are over 170 agents strong, backed by an in-house marketing team and global reach that is second to none.
From studios to penthouses, purchasing to renting, our team provides unparalleled real estate services.
If you live here, fun is your thing. If you live here, tough is your thing. Smart is your thing. Caring is your thing. If you live in Massachusetts, community is your thing. Since 1972, the Massachusetts State Lottery has provided over $25 billion to help cities and towns with the things they need most. If you live here, giving is your thing.
Welcome back for the bottom of the second inning, and if you're thinking, hey, Christian Moore was just at the dish last time the Hawks were up, well, you are correct. Moore was at the plate when Cole McConnell was caught stealing in that bottom of the first inning, so Moore heads back to the plate now with a new count, and will have the chance to lead off the inning for the Hawks. 4, 5, 6, Moore, Patelli, and Pepe as Summers returns to the mound. The dark skies starting to move past McKeon as the lights come on and the wind dies down. First pitch outside, 1-0 to Christian Moore.
Well, speaking of lights, and I'll remind you all before we get this out of the way, the lights at Spillane Field have been causing a lot of problems, and with that, tomorrow's first pitch has been moved up to from 7 to 5. So it'll be an earlier start than usual in Wareham tomorrow night.
Here's the 1-0. And most of their games usually start at 6. And last year it was 6:30. They bumped it up to 6 this year, and now this week they've bumped it up to 5, as early as 5 o'clock. So if you're looking forward to tomorrow's game back on the mainland of Massachusetts, that's where the Hawks will travel over the bridge to Wareham. But for tonight, they have to deal with the Falmouth Commodores, and Christian Moore is ahead 3-0 now. So Zach, early game of red light, green light for Como.
Well, I'd say, let's go with a nice big red light.
See what happens here, lefty to righty. As Summers comes set, here comes his 3-0 pitch. Outside, a 4-pitch walk by Christian Moore, and his advanced plate discipline continues to show as the leadoff man's aboard.
Already, great job by Moore. Didn't even think about taking any of those pitches. He just sat there and he waited and waited until he saw something he liked. Didn't get anything he liked. And now we move on.
Well, we move on to maybe the hottest bat on the team in the form of Dom Patelli. His average now sits at .265 with 3 homers, 11 runs batted in. It's been quite the ascension for Dom Patelli in recent games. He had 2 homers on Sunday in Orleans. Had another hit last night as he takes a called strike. The Miami shortstop with the orange Miami cleats. He had an arm sleeve on that matched it. Now he's changed to the blue Harbor Hawk arm sleeve. And Patelli, known for his defense, has really turned it up with his bat as of late. Here comes the 0-1 to Dom. He fouls that one off. A souvenir for a lucky fan down the left field line, 0-2.
You want to talk about somebody that really started off slow if you look at the average numbers, but at the same time, this is Dom Patelli's 11th game as a Hyannis Harbor Hawk, and he has hit in 8 of those 10 preceding tonight.
Summers comes set. Here comes the 0-2. Just missed a bit low. It was over the plate, but the changeup came in too low. 1-2 the count to Dom Patelli.
That's a risky pitch to take, but the risk, what's life without a little risk? As you can hear the Falmouth crew talking about the unpredictable weather.
Here's the 1-2 to Patelli. He fouls it off, stays alive. The Harbor Hawks, you mentioned it earlier, Zach, they don't strike out often. They had the least strikeouts in the league as an offense coming into the game, and you're seeing why. They fight off a ton of pitches, and Patelli did so on that one.
Just one tough customer at the plate after the next, and I don't think we saw it on the cameras, but someone's poor drink just got annihilated by that Patelli foul ball in the first row.
Here's the 1-2. Patelli goes down swinging for out number 1 as he just was over the top of that changeup, and first strikeout of the day for the Hawks is by way of swinging, and that'll bring up Rocco Pepe with 1 out and 1 on.
Rocco Pepe.
That's him.
2 home runs outside the park and 2 Little League home runs. One of which was a chopper back to the Chatham pitcher last night. The ball wound up in the Harbor Hawk dugout, and Rocco Pepe, on a chopper in the infield, scored from first base. Or from home plate, should I say.
First pitch misses outside to Pepe, the Long Beach State outfielder slash third baseman. We've seen him used in both roles, typically a corner outfielder or a corner infielder. He had a sensational 2022 season at Long Beach. He hit .321 with a .408 OBP, 5 home runs. That one's off the mid of Cromwick. It's a called strike. Moore's going to go to second. He's in there safely as Moore advances on the passed ball.
Good heads-up base running by Moore. You get the feeling that Rocco Pepe might be the next guy in this lineup to start to heat up. He's got hits in 3 of his last 4 after really struggling in a 6-game stretch where he did not get a hit.
Yeah, he had a pair of home runs already this season. One of those came at Katuitt just a couple of days ago. Here comes the 1-1. It's going to miss outside. 2-1 the count to Rocco. The 10 runs batted in have helped the Harbor Hawks win a couple games, too, as of late. They really come through in big spots, as you mentioned in Chatham, the solo home run against Katuitt, and they needed every bit of those solo home runs. A 6-6 tie for the Hawks. Here comes the 2-1. Moore's off for third. Pepe swings, hits it on the ground. It's a fair ball. Oh, they're going to call it foul. Just missed staying fair. No argument by Eric Beatty. So Moore was off on the pitch. A nice diving stop by McKenzie. Rolled foul by Mickey Garcia. So Moore heads back to second, and at the end of the day, it's just going to be a 2-2 count.
You do feel for McKenzie there, because that's a heck of a play there in the hot corner, and I think he gets Rocco Pepe out there as well. So maybe a stroke of luck for the Hawks, but at the same time, Christian Moore was there at third base, so it could go both ways.
Summers gets a sign from Cromwick and will come set. The left-hander stands a little bit off to the side for his delivery here, and he brings home the 2-2 to Pepe. It's fouled up off of Rocco, and we'll have to do it again.
Now, Rocco's specialty has been hitting breaking balls, and we've seen when teams give him fastball, 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 he's struggled against that. I think that's your goal, really, for the rest of the season if you're Rocco Pepe. Try and catch up to the fastball, but you have to be careful if you're Drew Summers. You don't want to give Rocco Pepe a breaking ball anywhere near the plate, because that's where he does his best and contributes the most damage.
Moore gets his lead again from second. Big lead at that. Here comes a 2-2. Pepe flies it to the left side of the infield. Mooney, the shortstop, calls for it. Drifts in just a bit, makes the catch for the second out.
Well, that baseball went no shorter than like 1 billion feet up in the air.
Yeah, no kidding. It was a light tower shot. Just unfortunately, Pepe got a bit under it. So with 2 down now and a man in scoring position still, it brings up the catcher, Pancho Ruiz. So Pancho was the guy that started opening day for the Hawks in his split time with Jacob Campbell to this point. But Jacob Campbell, the other catcher from Illinois, heading to the MLB draft, or preparing for that. So he is no longer with the Hawks, and that means it's Pancho and Jorge Corona, the 2 catchers now on the Hawk roster. Here comes first pitch to Pancho. Fastball misses up for a ball. Ruiz at San Diego State had quite the season, which was why the The Hawks were so ecstatic to be able to bring him in. Hit over 300, had 6 home runs. And even though he was just a sophomore, he really impressed. 44 strikeouts to 30 walks, so his strikeouts to walks are constantly improving, but that's not a bad number at all. Here comes the 1-0 to Poncho. He fouls that one hard off the right side. 1-1, the count evens up.
The Harbor Hawks are 3-0 against Falmouth coming into this season. Is that correct? Or coming into tonight?
Oh, you tell me.
3-0. Now listen to this stat, and it becomes that much more remarkable. Falmouth has given up 11 home runs. That would be the least on Cape Cod. Hyannis has not only hit the least amount of home runs, they have also given up the most amount of home runs. So the fact that the Harbor Hawks have completely reinvented, as that's hit foul, the game of baseball on Cape Cod to the extent that they have, where they give up a ton of homers and don't hit almost any, and yet stand where they are record-wise, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, the Hawks, it's been a couple of high-scoring performances that have damaged the Harbor Hawk pitching numbers a bit. The 18 runs scored by Bourne, 12 by Wareham over the course of 3 days. Inflated all the Hawks' numbers, but they're getting back down to earth after another good one last night. Here's the 1-2 to Poncho. He fouls it off again, stays alive.
And you would really like to see this from Poncho Ruiz. I still see him as the X factor. If he can get the bat that we saw at San Diego State going, I think sky's the limit here for this team. He does have 2 RBIs in his last 3 games, only 1 hit to show for it. The strikeout numbers, though, 10 strikeouts to 3 walks. You like to see him battling in these at-bats.
Moore off of second, Ruiz at the dish. Summers on the mound. 2 down here in the bottom of the second. Left-hander comes set, brings home the 1-2, and Poncho again fouls it off. 3rd time he sent one down the right field line, just a bit behind the fastball today is Poncho Ruiz. Poncho's durability was well documented at San Diego State this year. He started 54 of 55 games, and he was a big contributor for that team all season long in the batting average category, 309. He led the Aztecs in home runs with his 5 homers that is, but that led the team as a true sophomore. Here comes the 1-2 to Poncho. Gonna miss inside, count evens up.
And you want to know why Poncho is seeing this at bat so well? Because he's caught Drew Summers plenty of times, both San Diego State Aztecs, and when you're pitching against your own stalwart catcher, who has the advantage?
I'd say your catcher.
That would be absolutely correct.
Poncho seems to, explains the foul balls in this at-bat. He's fighting off everything. Here comes the 2-2 once again. Runner goes. Poncho fans on a high fastball to end the inning. The Hawks get another man in scoring position, but leave him there as we are scoreless through 2 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
We all have obstacles, challenges at different points in life. I still push myself every single day, and the harder I push myself, the more I find myself drawn to wearing UFOs. The first time I put on a pair of UFOs, it was like someone released the pressure. It was so crazy. When you are recovered and can do more, that has a compounding effect on all aspects of your life. Stepping into a pair of UFOs, they're truly one of a kind. There's nothing like them.
Best ever? Good question. Wait, why do you sound like Dr. J in your head? I've always sounded like Dr. J in my head, which means Dr. J's outside voice sounds like my inside voice? Which Coke? The doc would know. He got the world to call him doctor without going to med school. There's only one best ever.
Welcome back for the top of the 3rd inning. Austin Nakuda and Zach Berman live from McKeon Park today as Zach Volker returns to the bump for his 3rd inning of work, just 1 hit across 2 scoreless so far. And for Volk, it's not necessarily the strikeout numbers that are going to carry him to a long and successful outing, but it's the weak contact that he induces. It's been 4 straight flyouts to center field over the last 4 outs for Volker, and he's been dealing on the mound so far.
Efficiency is the name of the game through these first 2 innings. You look at Zach Volker's pitch numbers. He's thrown 17 pitches in these first 2 innings. You know how many balls he's thrown? 1.
That's a good start.
17 pitches, 16 strikes, a single pitch outside the zone. And look at that, the clouds are gone. They're off to our right. And now, not only do you have the sun, you got a breeze as well. And it was sticky, it was humid, it was kind of gross out coming into this game. And now it is breezy and beautiful. And
oddly enough, the flag is not moving in right field. Not just enough of wind yet to carry any baseballs out of here. That brings up Anthony McKenzie, the third baseman, followed by Luke Boyers, the left fielder, 8-9 to start us off here. As Volker winds up, brings home the first pitch. It's a called strike.
Well, there's that slider that we love from Volker so much. Inside, dots the corner of the plate. And McKenzie, you really don't have that much to do if you're Anthony McKenzie, because that's down almost knee level in on your hands. You just have to kind of watch it go.
McKenzie's played all around the infield this summer for the Commodores, third, second, and short. Here comes the 0-1 hit on the ground to Philip Matulia. He takes it himself for the bag for the 3 unassisted, and another easy out for the Harbor Hawks.
Once again, weak contacts. That's the name of the game if you're Zach Volker. He, after allowing a couple long, loud outs, he's starting to rein things in a little bit.
That brings up Luke Boyers, the left fielder. We've seen him a couple of times this season. First pitch from Volker to Boyers. Hit on the ground is second. There's Riku Nishida. It goes under the glove and into right field. An error on Riku will put a man on. E4 it goes down as, and unfortunately that's been one of the areas Riku has struggled with this season are the errors, and he's been struggling to adjust to the infields here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. He was stellar at Mount Hood throughout his career. He never makes errors, but unfortunately still learning to adjust from the bounces and the divots that he has to deal with throughout the Cape Cod Baseball League's infields. Back to the top of the order for Alex Mooney, the shortstop. He goes after the first pitch and skies it to right center field. McConnell on the run. He gets there in time for out number 2. So Volker wastes no time getting that out that he nearly had at second base, as the first pitch to Mooney is another F8, the 5th one of the day.
To get back to the Riku error for a second, that is a teachable moment. Riku is playing that with his glove off to the left side of his body, and you want to get in front of that ball to make sure if it gets under your glove, you can knock it down with your feet. And Riku instead plays the ball to the side, gets under his glove and into the outfield. So that's something that I'm sure he's going to get talked to a little bit. Hey, next time, when you have the speed of Riku Nishida, you got to get in front of the ball.
Just went under his glove. He had it just about squared up. Here's another chance for Nishida. He squares it up, throws to first in time. So the error does not come back to bite the Hawks at all, as Volker works quickly and gets the side retired as the Commodores strand a man at first base. We are still scoreless as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Hawks coming up to bat. It'll be Matulia, Nishida, and Jeb on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
Diet Coke? Were you my mom?
You should be so lucky, because you know what moms do? Well, I suppose we should start with the whole giving you life thing. It seems like that should be enough. No? Okay. What about her ability to send shockwaves through the neighborhood without saying a word? Or whip up a ridiculous handmade costume that you forgot to tell her about? Not to make you happy, but because she had a reputation to uphold. She invented rideshare, called it carpool, and did it for free. She didn't need those dating apps either. You copied her jeans, her spin, her shoes, her scrunchie, and whether you realize it or not, her music.
Why not?
Oh, and she can win any argument in 4 words.
Because I said so.
Everything you're trying to do, she's already done it, did it better, and she did it with a Diet Coke in her hand. So, drink what your mama gave you.
Welcome back for the bottom of the 3rd inning from McKeon Park, as you get a beautiful shot of Judy Walden Scarefile Field. Austin Akuta alongside Zach Berman, as we've got a good one so far. Just 1 hit apiece for these 2 teams. Bottom of the 3rd inning, just moments away. It'll be Philip Matulia to lead us off, who's at first base today. He spent some time in left field, center field, right field, and most recently on the pitcher's mound. as just about a few days ago, I don't remember the exact date on it, it was
that
against
Saturday
Bourne.
game. Yep.
Saturday the 9th against Bourne at home. Matulia was called upon to pitch in the 9th inning after the Hawks had burned through their bullpen and could not finish off the Braves. And Matulia came in and recorded a strikeout.
Against the likely league MVP thus far in Matt Shaw.
It was a good performance. Matulia touched as high as 91 miles per hour with his fastball in that outing. Now he'll look to translate that success from the mound back to the plate as Matulia digs in here. 8-9-1 for the Hawks. Phillip with a home run and 5 runs batted in on the season. His on-base percentage continues to skyrocket as his plate discipline is near the top of this team. First pitch to Matulia, fastball just can't catch up, 0-1.
Now with Matulia playing first tonight, the Harbor Hawks, this is a bit of a rare case. Matulia has experience playing first at Louisiana Tech. How often do you see a first baseman in the league that can steal?
Well, Nolan Shanuel can on a nightly basis for the Hawks. He's usually their guy over there. Here comes the 0-1. Matulia lines it through the left side for a base hit. Phillip on the second pitch he sees takes a single the opposite way, and the Hawks are in business to start off the bottom of the third.
You usually do not see Phil Matulia swinging that early in the at-bat unless he sees something that you know he likes. He was all over whatever Summers was giving him, missed on the first one, decided to time his swing back a little bit that second go-around, didn't miss it at all, serves it through the left field side for a hit.
That brings up Riku Nishida, the Mount Hood Community College star who will be heading to Oregon to play for the Ducks. And as Riku is known for his speed and contact skills. 58 stolen bases at Mount Hood for the Saints in this past season. Here comes the first pitch. Riku shows bunt, fouls it off. And Nishida's speed from Mount Hood is really translated well here to the Cape Cod Baseball League. His batting average at .270, and he's beat out his fair share of infield singles.
Well, we talked about Mitch Jebb being first in the league with 8 stolen bases in his last 7 games. You know who's second? Riku Nishida with 7 stolen bases in his last 7 games.
Here comes the 0-1. Nishida shows bunt again. He pops it up. It's behind the plate. Cromwell flips the mask, and he makes a diving play. Matulia tags. The throw to second is not in time. Matulia slides past the tag of Mooney on a heads-up play by Phil. For starters, what a play by the catcher, Cromwell. Full extension, dives and makes a catch. But even more, what a heads-up play by Matulia to tag up.
One of the rare occasions in the sport of baseball where you can simultaneously tip your cap to both teams on one play. Cromwell was a little bit late to the jump. He didn't see the ball was going over his head. So he comes back and he dives. And how about Phil Matulia deciding, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And Cromwell made a great throw. Matulia was dead to rights at second. That's all on the slide. He gets his arm around the tag of Mooney and is able to
he
sneak
slid
in there at
foot
second.
first, I believe.
It was foot first, but...
So it was the right foot that
right
just
foot.
caught the bag. So with Matulia on second and 1 out, that brings up Mitch Jebb, the top of the order. First pitch to Mitch. He thought about bunting, but not too much more than just a quick thought as that pitch missed wildly outside, a 1-0.
Well, interestingly enough, Mooney looked like he was trying to tag Matulia on the hand. If Mooney goes for the feet, he likely gets it. Instead, he goes up high because the throw came in a little bit late. Of course, the throw is going to come in late when your catcher just makes a diving play and is a little bit behind the 8 ball, but still, great job by Philip Matulia to sense what was going on and tag.
Jebb at the plate is second in the Cape Cod Baseball League in stolen bases with 15. He is only behind a man named Riku Nishida, who has 16. Jebb shows bunt, and it's going to be a called strike as he just couldn't make contact. 1-1, the count evens up. Jebb on the year through 22 games, has 25 hits, 4 doubles and a triple to go along with 7 runs batted in. He also has only struck out 16 times compared to 12 walks. So Mitch, who rarely struck out at Michigan State and walked a plethora of times, has started to translate that here to the Cape Cod Baseball League. Here comes the 1-1. Matulia starts and stops at second as a breaking ball finds the zone. 1-2 the count.
And this is where we see Mitch Jebb immediately adjust how he sees the plate. Last time he came up, he worked the 7-pitch at bat, and he'll foul off pitch after pitch after pitch. It's very rare that you see Mitch Jebb not put something in the field of play.
A little bit of action in the Commodore bullpen as a right-hander begins to throw. Not necessarily a sign that Summers' day is nearing its end. It could just be a guy getting some work in. Here comes the 1-2 to Jebb, and he fans on a pitch just below the zone. Looked like the change-up for out number 2.
Really not something you see often from Mitch Jebb, and you just have to credit that to how good Drew Summers has been on Cape Cod. He has been the epitome of bend but don't break so far in this game.
Here comes Mike Sirota. He's the DH tonight, and he's had a hot start to the game, a double in the bottom of the first inning. Unfortunately, he was left stranded at second base. For the 3rd consecutive inning, the Hawks have a man on second and are hoping to avoid stranding Matulia this time. Here comes the pitch to Sirota, and it's going to not happen as he steps off. Matulia is in safely at third. Summers went to step off and make a pickoff attempt. Matulia had such a big lead that he just took off, and, well, McKenzie didn't cover third, so Philip Matulia swipes the bag without a pitch being thrown.
Well, Mooney was shifted almost right behind the second base bag, and McKenzie was shifted really into Mooney's spot, almost covering short, so there was nobody at third. And once again, Philip Matulia, even if he doesn't come around to score here, how about the job he's done on the base paths this bottom of the inning?
He's singled and then tagged up on a pop-up to the catcher, steals third, and here comes the first pitch to Sirota, breaking ball, called strike, 0-1. Sirota, a very talented hitter at Northeastern, had his year slowed a bit due to an injury, but in 37 games as a freshman, just 19 years old, he had 4 homers, 20 RBI, and hit .326. Here comes the 0-1. Sirota, high chopper back up the middle. Mooney plays it on a hop. His throw across the diamonds in time to end the inning. So for the 3rd straight inning, Hyannis gets a man to second base and can't bring him home as we remain tied at nothing apiece as we head to the 4th inning on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
That chip on the shoulder, that started at a very, very young age. People's expectations are, they're cool, they're fun, but mine are bigger.
When you play in New York, they want to see winners. It doesn't matter if it's a Monday or a Friday or a Saturday. You gotta come with it, or those fans will let you know.
Pick one thing from me, pick one other thing from another player, make it your own, you turn to who you want to be.
What motivates me is the unknown. You know, how good can I be? You get away from the lights, you get away from the camera.
Mientras más presente yo esté en la caja de batería, más éxito tengo.
Man, how can you not keep it fun, man? This is a kid's game.
If you could go back and tell 10-year-old Francisco one thing, what would it be?
You're a bad mother.
Welcome back inside McKeon Park for the top of the 4th inning. 0-0 the score, as it's been a pitcher's duel thus far. Austin Nakuda, Zach Berman in the broadcast booth, as the Commodores will send the meat of their order up to the plate here for the top of the 4th. It's Andrew Pinckney, the 3-hitter, followed by Jacob Walsh, and then Josiah Cromwick, 3-4-5, as Zach Volker completes his warm-up tosses, and we get ready to begin the proceedings here.
Well, you know who else is playing in a scoreless tie? That'd be the Kettleers. They're still half a game up on the Hawks, except that game is in the top of the 8th inning. Orleans and Katuitt scoreless. If Orleans and Katuitt tie, that puts them 2 points ahead. So the Harbor Hawks would have to win to tie Katuitt. But if Orleans can break through and the Harbor Hawks can do so as well, Hyannis would jump them.
So the Hawks are, what, a half game back of the Kettleers still?
Half game back, tied with YD for second best record in the league overall, 34 points apiece.
That one's hit on the ground to Dom Patelli. He makes a spin and a throw, and it's in time. Another day at the office for Dom Patelli. Every play hits a short. Looks routine when he's the guy doing the fielding. One up, one down.
There are few people in this league that are going to make a play like that look as easy as Dom Patelli just did. Perfect read on the ball, the little pirouette and the throw to first, and he makes that look like a routine play. That is absolutely couldn't be further from the truth.
So while Zach Volker has yet to record a punch-out, He's through 3 1/3 with just one base runner, and he has thrown 23 pitches. 22 of them have been a strike. Here comes a pitch to Jacob Walsh, another strike, back to the mound. Volker's there, flip on to first, 2 up, 2 down. He is just locating everything today without much difficulty.
This might be the single most efficient pitching performance we've seen, not just from a Harbor Hawk, but on Cape Cod all season.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting them to swing at the first pitch almost on every at-bat, it feels like. And if not, they're going after the second pitch and putting it in play for weak contact. The only hit was the second batter of the game, which was a double by Colby Halter. And now Volker's through 3 2/3 on 24 pitches. 23 of them are strikes. Here comes Josiah Cromwick. He flew out to center field in his only at-bat tonight. Here comes the first pitch from Volker. Fastball just misses high, and that's the second ball of the game by Volker, and it comes in the top of the 4th inning.
Well, if you're a scout and you're watching Volker, who of course is looking for a new home to pitch this next season, you have to be excited out of your wits right now.
Here's the 1-0. Breaking ball. There's a called strike. Count evens up, and yeah, Zach, we've seen him in relief outings, and he's been dominant. Was as evident by that .61 ERA through 14 2/3 entering tonight. But how good has he been as a starter tonight? Here comes the 1-1. There's a breaking ball. That misses high. But really, I mean, any Division I program might be calling Volker after tonight.
Well, he's just got to keep humming pitches into the strike zone. And you see right now he's trying to...
Here's the 2-1. Just a bit inside. 3-1.
Right here, he's trying to locate a little bit more. And curious to see what he goes here. Does he try and go outside to fool or maybe get Cromwick to reach out and poke a pitch in the infield, or does he go right down the heart of the plate?
Oh, that's never a good spot. Here comes the 3-1. It's on the outside corner, but just a bit outside, so it's ball 4. So for a guy who's only thrown now 5 balls through 3 2/3, the 4 of those have come now in that at-bat for a 2-out walk to Josiah Cromwick. Not the worst position to walk a guy, though, Zach, with 2 outs.
Well, we've talked so much about how this pitching staff's MO has been throw strikes, and now we're in, what, the 17th inning that Volker's thrown all year? That's only his 3rd walk.
Called strike to Drew Brutcher.
And just as importantly, to come back at the first pitch of the next at-bat with a strike.
Brutcher also flew out to center field, as have many of the Commodores tonight. Here's the 0-1, fouled off 0-2. So even after a 5-pitch walk, Zach Volker bounces right back, couple of strikes, and he's 1 strike away from stranding a man on first.
When you retire as many guys as he has in such quick order, you can afford to try and play around with 1 at bat and see, okay, can I locate some stuff and get this guy to look? Especially if you come right back up 0-2 in the next count.
Here comes the 0-2. Just missed outside. 1-2. Not a bad waste pitch to the powerful left-handed hitter.
Drew Brutcher, the product of University of South Florida. 3 homers this year, 1 against the Harbor Hawks.
Here comes the 1-2. Breaking ball, foul tipped, hung on to by Ruiz as Brutcher goes down swinging. Zach Volker has been near perfection through 4 innings of work. He has thrown just 6 balls as he's allowed 1 hit and 1 walk. There's his first punch out. He's given his team a chance to put up some runs now as we're still scoreless, 0-0 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
What are you looking forward to? Adding a takeout window?
And more locations.
Paying off my student loans.
Juggling my 4 small businesses and staying sane.
Raising my allowance.
Finishing my painting and starting the next one.
Catching a keeper. Cashing anything.
Making the most of my retirement.
Checking my balance and hopefully having one.
Whatever you want for your family, your business, or your community, talk to us at Cape Cod 5 because we're looking forward to helping you. Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Well, if you like pitching, do we have the game for you? Nothing the score, just 3 hits combined for these two teams as we get ready for the bottom of the 4th inning. The Hawks have the trio up if they want to push a run across here and open the scoring. It's Cole McConnell, Christian Moore, Dom Patelli, 3-4-5. But the man on the mound, Drew Summers, has been nearly as good as Zach Volker tonight.
Summers has been striking out guys a little bit more than Volker has, but Summers has been a different approach. It's been bend but don't break for Summers, and he's allowed guys on. He's already allowed 2 hits and a base runner via an error, but you would really like to see the Harbor Hawks, and they've struggled with this at times. It's been a little bit less as of late, but get these runners in scoring position home.
Summers to this point, 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, but no runs on 3 strikeouts. See how he continues here. The right-hander in the Commodore bullpen still throwing, as there's no action in the Harbor Hawk bullpen. Besides Riku Nishida taking some bunting practice and Ethan Hammerberg stretching and doing arm circles, but besides that, it appears we might see another inning out of Zach Volker. As Cole McConnell will lead us off, he reached on a fielder's choice, effectively a fielder's choice in his first one, as he put a ball in play to the left side, but it hit Mike Sirota, who was on second base. So now McConnell, who has just as much speed as he does power, will lead us off and look to open up the scoring. Lefty-lefty, so a tough matchup here if you're Cole, as Summers has been especially tough on left-handed hitting. As he comes set, here comes the first pitch of the bottom half of the frame. McConnell goes after it, fouls it off, and a souvenir down the left field line. McConnell was the cleanup hitter for much of the year at LA Tech for the Bulldogs. He hit .336 with 9 homers and drove in 76 runs in just 64 games, so he is a legitimate power threat at the plate too. Goes after that one, hits it on the ground to first, and it's fielded on a bounce, race to first, and they just get McConnell, as Walsh will take it himself. A closer play than they would have hoped for, but McConnell's retired.
Well, just to finish what you were saying on McConnell, we had been asking for a bit, okay, when is his power going to show up? And it definitely didn't get to it, and both those home runs he hit against the Kettleers, absolute moonshot. So I'm excited to see more of that as the season goes on.
That brings up Christian Moore, who has walked in his only plate appearance tonight. It was on 4 pitches. See if Summers comes in the zone this time to Christian. Here comes the first pitch. He'll do just that as Moore comes up empty, 0-1. Quiet night here at McKeon Park, but a healthy crowd on hand. It was really warm when the game started. The crowd's now starting to grow a bit as the temperature drops. Moore fouls it off. He's behind 0-2.
Well, we got lucky because there was a pretty big storm in our vicinity that passed right over us, and out in Brewster they weren't so lucky. That game's in a delay.
Christian Moore at the plate. We talked to him when he first arrived in the broadcast booth just a couple of weeks ago and asked him what Jordan Beck, who's projected to be a first-round pick this year, left with him. And Beck told Moore just to have fun and be yourself, and Moore does just that on a daily basis as he fouls that off. And Christian with a positive attitude, a little bit of swagger to him, and you definitely a guy who draws a lot of attention with his power, his speed, and his persona. And he definitely, you can see part of Jordan Beck rub off on Christian Moore. Count remains at 0-2. Summers comes set. Here comes the 0-2 once more. Breaking ball. Moore hits it well to right field. Moving back is Butcher. He's in front of the warning track. Will put the glove up and make the catch for out number 2. Moore just missed that one by a bit, but still solid contact for the second out.
Second straight game that Moore has almost hit one out. And you get the feeling that he is so close to locking in power-wise, and wouldn't it be big that right down the stretch as the playoff chase heats up, Christian Moore's power comes alive. We've already seen the guy at the plate, Dom Patelli, his power's woken up.
Here comes the criminology major, Dom Patelli from Miami. Patelli is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Here comes the first pitch to Dom, breaking ball called strike. Looks like a variation of a slider almost with the movement on that pitch. Slowed down with some curve across the plate.
Well, if it's got some slider and some curve tendencies, can we call it a slurve?
Maybe. I don't know. It's more of a cutter than a curve. Here comes the 0-1. Patelli goes after a straight fastball, but comes up empty. A loud sound on the mitt there, as you hear. 0-2.
Well, I'm hearing from the Falmouth booth, they're saying slider, so we'll go with that.
Here comes the 0-2 from Summers. Patelli takes it the other way, but foul. Count will hold exactly where it is. So Dom Patelli, who at Miami made national news by making a couple SportsCenter top 10 plays at the shortstop position, known for his glove, has really picked it up with the bat. Even at Miami, he had a weekend in which he hit 2 grand slams. He can certainly swing the stick at the plate.
Well, that will do. That will play.
Summers comes set for an 0-2 pitch once again to the shortstop. Here it is, and it's a fastball Patelli just can't catch up as Summers settles in and retires the side in the order. As 1-2-3, the Hawks go down and they head back to the dugout as Zach Volker will likely return back to the mound. And we got a pitcher's duel for you, 0-0 through 4 complete on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
With Hood Milk, you can trust your family is getting high-quality milk in every nutritious and delicious drop. It begins here on farms that Hood selects, with farmers who uphold the highest standards and who pledge to never use artificial growth hormones. And you'll see that care continue right to your home with our Light Block bottle, which protects the fresh taste of your milk. At Hood, we never stop caring about our milk because you never stop caring about your family. Always good, always Hood.
If you live here, fun is your thing. If you live here, tough is your thing. Smart is your thing. Caring is your thing. If you live in Massachusetts, community is your thing. Since 1972, the Massachusetts State Lottery has provided over $25 billion to help cities and towns with the things they need most. If you live here, giving is your thing.
Welcome back for the top of the 5th inning, and a familiar face back on the mound. It's Zach Volker, and the Commodore is certainly not happy to see Volk still, as he has given them fits at the plate. 4 innings, just 1 hit allowed, no runs, and 1 walk and 1 strikeout for Volk. He's faced just 15 batters, nearly the minimum.
He has been as efficient as possible, more or less, and you really want to see how far he can continue with this efficiency, because it would be absolutely huge with a big weekend of baseball ahead for the Harbor Hawks to get as much rest for your bullpen as possible.
Here comes Corey Collins. It's going to be 7, 8, 9. Collins, McKenzie, and Boyers due up here as Volker from the windup will bring home the first pitch, and Collins goes after it, fouls it off, 0-1, and he continues to be in the zone. That's been the main storyline tonight. Volker now 28 strikes, just 6 balls. That's good for a total of 34 pitches through just 4 innings. I mean, he has been as efficient as anyone we've seen this summer.
I'm not a math guy, but I'd say that's pretty solid efficiency. I can't get the percentages up off the top of my head.
Here's the 0-1 pitch from Volker. Just misses inside, 1-1.
And we have been told, courtesy of our third broadcast partner, Drake Toll, who's currently a little bit under the weather, He is now ERA eligible in terms of his innings and owns the 3rd best ERA on Cape Cod.
Ground ball to first. Matulia backhands it. He'll flip it to Volker, who's covering the bag, and a well-executed 3-1 on the putout is good for out number 1.
Once again, weak contact. Not necessarily easy, because that's a tough play, and a good play by Matulia to backhand it and then make the decision to pitch the ball over. But in terms of where the ball is hit and how hard it is hit, weak contacts, easy outs.
Anthony McKenzie, the 3rd baseman, now due up. He is 0 for 1 with a ground out to first. Matulia, over at the first base spot, has been quite the busy man tonight. For a guy who doesn't play a ton of first base, has played some in the Northwoods and at LA Tech. Not his primary position, however. Here comes the first pitch. It's just going to miss to McKenzie. McKenzie has some pop in the 8-hole. He does have a homer, 8 runs batted in on the young season for him.
It gets to the point where you're almost surprised when Volker misses the plate. He's been that good tonight.
Volk winds up, brings home the 1-0. And that one's going to hit off the umpire's cleat for a ball 2-0. See, Ethan Hammerberg is up in the bullpen. Nobody's throwing yet. So it appears it's Volker's game for now. And with his pitch count, we said, 4 innings we were thinking originally. But the way he's pitched, 6 innings might not be a stretch at all. Nobody even throwing in the Harbor Hawk bullpen, just Hammerberg stretching. Here comes the 2-0 pitch from Zach Volker. Breaking ball, called strike. There's a slider that he can throw for a strike seemingly whenever he feels it. Here's the 2-1. That misses high, 3-1. Here comes the pitch from Volker. Fouled off, and he's right back in the zone again, and the count moves to full.
So we've only seen Volk strike out 1 guy, and it was on a foul tip. Where, if you are Zach Volker, do you go with a pitch? If you're trying to strike out Mr. McKenzie here, what do you throw? Where do you put it?
Well, as Drake Toll would say, a strike.
Throw the strike pitch.
Here comes the 3-2 from Volker. There's the fastball, and McKenzie spoils another, as the count will hold at 3-2.
I was waiting for the daily beating of the crowd, Mike.
That one was off the whiteboard, just to the right of it.
Oh, yeah, there's another nick on the whiteboard.
Yeah, there it is.
It's the same spot.
Volker winds up, and here comes the 3-2. Reaches out, taps it foul. So the count will hold where it is. At the sounds of the osprey chirping above McKeon Park, they have their big nest just in the right field side of the ball field, where the Harbor Hawks get their name from. Here comes the 3-2, line back again. That one's the crowd, Mike.
How about this at bat here from McKenzie? And usually guys have been going down so early in counts. This is the first time we have really seen a count worked tonight against Zach Volker.
Volker winds up, and here comes the 3-2. Breaking ball, line back up the middle for just the 2nd hit of the night. So McKenzie, in one of the toughest at-bats we've seen in quite some time, ends it off with a base hit with 1 out.
Nothing you can really do there if you're Volker. One of those just occasions where you have to say, okay, that's a great at-bat by the opposing hitter. How do you settle back in? How do you get your groove back in? How do you show, if you've already shown a ton tonight, but getting out of this spot, being resilient, that's just going the extra mile.
Luke Boyer's now at the plate. He did a reach on an error by Riku Nishida earlier in the ball game. Volker right back in the zone with a called strike. Here comes the 0-1. Outside, Ruiz grabs it, and will hold the runner McKenzie over at first. Luke Boyers, the left fielder today, has experience in center and in right for Texas Christian. That one's lined foul. 1-2 the count now. Boyers, in 60 games at TCU, hit 6 homers, 37 runs driven in, stole 11 bases, all while posting a .742 OPS, a well-rounded ball player. And he's no stranger to the Cape Cod Baseball League. Spent summer of 2021 as a Falmouth Commodore, so a returner for the Doors. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Volker. As he comes set, brings it home, fastball, snap throw by Poncho, back to first, just not in time. Pitch miss for a ball, and Ruiz's throw to first nearly had McKenzie leaning. But at the end of the day, all it is a 2-2 count, and the runner's still over at first.
That's not a designed pitch out. I think if it was, you see that play work a little bit faster. The whole ordeal almost seemed to work in slow motion.
Here comes the 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Volker comes back with the heater and retires Boyers for out number 2.
High cheese, perfectly placed. Really can't say anything better about that one. And now you're one out away from probably the most efficient 5 innings we've seen thus far.
Yeah, Volker, the only real struggle he had was the McKenzie single, which drove the pitch count up just a bit. And by just a bit, I mean he's only at 50 pitches through 4 2/3. Back to the top of the order, Alex Mooney, and that one just misses inside. Mooney's 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a fly out, to Cole McConnell in center field. 5 flyouts to center field today for Cole McConnell. So he's had a busy day. Mooney rips that one foul, and the count moved to 1-1. Alex Mooney with 3 homers, 8 runs driven in on the year. And as he's 0 for 2 tonight, his average has dropped just a bit to .264. As he breaks his bat on the last foul ball, we'll have to go retrieve a new piece of lumber from the visiting dugout.
Yeah, you could just hear the contact there, and there's some splinters flying off of that thing. You know, an interesting development, at the start of the season when all these guys are adjusting to wood bats, it was a broken bat or two every single night. You have not seen that nearly as much as we get really into the heart of this Cape League season.
Volker comes set with 2 away and a man on first. He brings home the 1-1. It's another breaking ball. This time it's skied foul into the briars and bushes down the right field line. Now Ethan Hammerberg begins to finally throw, and the Harbor Hawk arm barn. Doesn't mean Volker's day is nearing its end quite yet, but you have to think, for a guy who's been the reliever for the early parts of the year, he's now at 53 pitches. He may come back for the 6, but we will see.
Now I like the high fastball here if you're Volker. Worst comes to worst, he doesn't swing at it, you go 2s across.
Here comes the 1-2, runner goes. That one's fouled off again. Zach Volker continues to throw strikes. He's got 41 of those to just 13 balls to this point. .76% of the pitches he has thrown tonight are a strike. That is good for 3 out of every 4. Here's the 1-2, and that one's going to hit Mooney. He just lost the slider a bit, and it comes in, hits Mooney on the back. And with 2 outs, the Commodores now have something working, first and second now.
That one just ran a little bit inside, and now it seems we're going to have a visit on the mound. Not necessarily to take Volker out, but I think this is just a discussion on, hey, Halter has been very, very good as of late.
Kevin Ohm, the one of multiple pitching coaches for the Harbor Hawks this season. Ohm is specialized with the mound visits. It's Ray Korn who's been hanging out in the bullpen for the Hawks, and you have B.J. Johnson as well, who's also a pitching coach specialist almost. Pablo Ortiz as well on the coaching staff.
And yes, you really do have to be careful here with Halter. He's riding a 5-game hit streak. He's got 2 homers in those last 5, 5 RBIs in those last 5 as well. So he's come up in big spots, and this is a big spot right here in a pitcher's duel of a game. Let's see, as they're not going to take Volker out. How can you? How do you attack a guy that's already taken you for extra bases tonight?
So Colby Halter will come up to bat. He's 1 for 2 tonight with a double and a ground out. First and second for the Commodores with 2 away in the inning. Here's the first pitch. It's a breaking ball, just a bit high. Volker hasn't started to lumber until now. Here comes the 1-0. That one's popped foul.
And he's given him a lot of breaking balls here. This is the same approach that we saw Austin Strickland give Tommy Troy after Tommy Troy on Tuesday night tortured the Harbor Hawks. So I think you're going to try and see Zach Volker lean as far away from the fastball for as long as he can in this at-bat.
One the count now to Halter as Volker comes set, pickoff move, and Patelli slaps the tag down on McKenzie, but he's back in safely. Halter with the 5 homers on the year is nearing the league lead. A couple of guys ahead of him at 6. Here comes the 1-1, and he comes up empty on a fastball, 1-2. So when you're coming into an at-bat, batting .338 with 5 homers, 11 runs driven in, you are the guy for the Commodores. And if you're Falmouth, you want Colby Halter to come through here because you don't know how many more chances you're going to get. First and second, 2 outs in the inning. With Zach Volker on the mound, who has been near perfection to this point. The right-hander, formerly from Long Beach State, comes set for the 1-2. Looking to work his way out of trouble. Here comes the pitch. Breaking ball and a swing and a miss. Zach Volker locks it down. For the first time, he had 2 men on, but not a problem for Volk as he is through 5 brilliant innings on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
Traffic is treacherous. There's a fender bender on the pike. Gonna be a wicked commute. The expressway's backed up to the gas tanks. Gridlock. Crawl. Snarl. Jam up. Bottleneck. Log jam. 128 is a parking lot. You'll be late for supper tonight.
Keeping your car road ready is what we do best. At Sullivan Tire, we're always here to get you there.
Hey, we get you there too.
Having a 5G phone that's not on T-Mobile makes as much sense as playing ice hockey. Using pool noodles. Get out of the penalty box with 5G coverage like this. T-Mobile has more 5G bars in more places than anyone. T-Mobile, more 5G bars in more places. Another reason T-Mobile is the leader in 5G.
Welcome back for the bottom of the 5th inning, and the Commodores are going to go to the new pitcher for the first time, as it appears to be Luke Malone, the right-hander. All right, as Malone will finish up his warm-up tosses, and the Harbor Hawks will get ready to come to the plate. It's going to be Rocco Pepe, Pancho Ruiz, Phil Matolia. That trio so far tonight is 1 for 3. Pepe would lead us off. He's got good speed, too, if he can get aboard. The Harbor Hawks are still searching for their first run of the ball game. It's just been a pitcher's duel to this point, so the day is officially done on Drew Summers. 4 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts to this point. As there's a throwdown by Cromwick, and we're ready to go. So Luke Malone on the mound, making his season debut for the Falmouth Commodores, the right-hander from Round Rock, Texas. Takes a big, deep breath, takes in the moment, and is taking a moment behind the mound to soak it all in. As welcome in right into a tie game. 0-0 the score for a man who's been well-traveled throughout his baseball career.
Well, this is his first appearance as a member of the Cape Cod baseball
That's
team.
correct. Here comes the first pitch to Rocco Pepe. That's going to miss low, 1-0.
Now, Malone this past season at UTSA, it's those strikeout walk numbers, 62 strikeouts.
Here's the 1-0 to Pepe, and he hates that one a long way to left field. Ranging back, looking up, and it is gone! Rocco Pepe breaks the scoreless tie, and the Hawks are going to jump ahead to a 1-0 lead on the solo shot.
Home run number 3 on the season for the right fielder, Rocco Pepe.
The 3rd home run of the year by Rocco Pepe, and he's quite swinging the hot bat as of late.
What did I tell you, Austin? Rocco Pepe has been seeing the ball really well as of late, and you can't throw him breaking balls in the zone or he'll do that to you. That was hung right over the heart of the plate. He made no mistake on it. 1-0 Hawks.
Pepe punishes the breaking ball. We talked about it earlier. You throw that guy anything slowed down, it's going over the fence. 2nd home run the last week. As that brings up Poncho Ruiz, who watches a called strike. And unfortunately for Luke Malone, the first guy he sees in his Cape Cod career takes one over the fence. See if he can bear down now to get Poncho. Here's the 0-1. That one's hit back up the middle. On a hop, fielded by Mooney. Throw to first in time. So he bounces back nicely to retire the San Diego State catcher for out number 1.
Well, that's a good recovery by Malone, but well, that's a wake up and smell the coffee moment that I've ever seen. One that I've ever seen. That's something you, years from now, no matter where you wind up in baseball, that's a story. You know, when I first got into the Cape League, I took a big, deep breath, stepped onto the mound, first batter I saw, hit one over the fence.
And you tell him about the next guy, he retired pretty quickly. So Malone's settling in here as he gets to deal with Philip Matulia, who's 1 for 1 with a base hit. That pitch misses outside. Now Phil raising that batting average by the at-bat, and started off a little bit slow. And if you look at it now at 149, you might be saying, okay, he's off to a slow start to his year, but his OBP's been great, and he's been a really solid defender no matter where Coach Beatty has put him in the field.
Not to mention just his aspects as a team leader, someone that these guys have really rallied around in the dugout.
Wind up, and the pitch. Here's the 1-1. Matulia fouls it back, 1-2.
Now, he's thrown a couple of these since the home run. He has to be careful because Matulia laid off one for a strike, hung another breaking ball right over the heart of the plate.
So Matulia. Behind 1-2 is Malone. Brings home a pitch in the dirt. Looked like the change up. The count will move to 2-2. Matulia's only home run of the year came here at McKeon Park. It's to right field, just to the left of the iHealth Services sign, the big billboard out and right. That one is skied down the left field side, out of play. So the count will hold where we are at 2-2.
How about these power bats as of late, huh? Three of the last 4 games, the Hawks have gone deep.
Starting to put the ball over the fence as Matulia hits that one to the fence down the right field side. 2-2 the count will hold.
And really over the last week or so, yes, I know the 2 highest scoring games they've had, they've lost, but the home runs are starting to pick up. You've scored 12 in a game. You've scored 10 in a game. They're right there.
Matulia gets ready to face the 2-2 from Malone. He fouls it off again. Phil Matulia not ready to give up just yet, making Malone work. The 8th pitch of the at-bat is incoming. The umpire retrieves some new baseballs as Matulia has basically ran him out. He sent them all over the fence. See if he can put this one in play as Malone gets the signs from Cromwick and now brings the glove over his head for the 2-2. Breaking ball misses outside. What an AB for Philip Matulia as the count moves to full, and he will now see a 9th pitch of this AB. Here's the 3-2. Matulia fouls it off again. What an at-bat. Said it a couple of times, but it remains true. Phil Matulia is playing spoiler at the plate.
And this is just an awesome at-bat by Matulia. Pitch after pitch after pitch. He's going to wait and foul everything off until he gets what he likes.
Here comes the 10th pitch of the at-bat. Matulia takes a ball for ball 4. Philip Matulia works a 10-pitch walk and puts a man on first with one away for Riku Nishida.
And now you have some underrated speed on the base paths. So watch the hit and run here if you're Hyannis. You expect Riku to at least put something in play or work a walk. He's not going to strike out very often. So this is a spot where I think you have Matulia maybe not stealing, but thinking of running at the site of contact.
Nishida is 0 for 1. He tried to get a bunt down in the 3rd inning, but popped it up to the catcher, Cromwick, but Matulia, who was on first, was still able to advance. Nishida hits it on the ground to short. Flip on to second for 1. Throw to first is not in time. So the fielder's choice retires Matulia, but leaves the Cape Cod Baseball League stolen base leader on first base with 2 outs.
Well, not to be overlooked, that is an unbelievably smooth play there from Alex Mooney at short. The glove flip, don't see that very often, but at the same time, you're not nobody's beating out Riku Nishida on that throw.
So Mitch Jeb back up at the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight in the leadoff spot. Jeb with the now high sock look, a little bit different from Mitch. Seen him change it up a couple of times. Those bright blue Nikes showing as the pickoff move not in time. Falmouth no doubt aware of what Nishida can do on the base paths. Runner started to go. Nishida didn't go much, though. That one misses for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, Falmouth has really got to keep an eye on Riku. And a big knock against Riku's game early in the season was him getting caught on the base paths. He hasn't been caught stealing in almost a week. So he's really stepped it up, knowing when to run, when not to. And the success rate, the numbers don't lie.
The 1-0 misses outside, 2-0. No doubt aware of Nishida's speed. A couple of fastballs on the outside part of the plate, maybe by design. But now they're behind 2-0 to a good hitter in Mitch Jeb.
I don't think Riku is taking these leads to necessarily steal. I think he's trying to get in Malone's head.
Pickoff move again, Nishida back in safely. And if you're Malone, your first day on Cape Cod, you have to deal with the stolen base leader in the league named Riku Nishida, who is giving you fits by his antics over on the base paths. Runner started to go, and Jeb smashes that one to right field. Butcher's back on the warning track, and he'll make the catch as Mitch Jeb just missed a 2-run home run by maybe 5-10 feet. But the Hawks do get a run as they strike first thanks to Rocco Pepe's solo home run. 1-0 Hyannis on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
Bronk.
What up, TB?
What do you think my next move should be? Give it to me straight. Maybe it's just time I hang him up.
I got one word for you. Retirement. If you retire now, you're gonna be walking on soft sand in a week. Just come to Florida and feel the wind in your hair. Retirement is like winning another one. Maybe I'll even join you.
On the Spotty Network, this is what Tom heard.
If you retire now, you're soft and weak. Just come to Florida and win another one. Maybe I'll even join you.
Just go win another one.
Like it's that easy, Gronk. Maybe it is.
I still feel like I have a lot to accomplish. My goal is to win one more. And Gronk's coming with me.
I'm retired from retiring? Mom, where are my football pants?
Don't trust big decisions to just any network. Go with T-Mobile, the GOAT in 5G.
And I'm not soft or weak either.
T-Mobile is the leader in 5G.
Isn't proud to be a sponsor.
Well, Zach Berman, if I told you that Zach Volker would be back on the mound for his 6th inning of work, would you be surprised?
The way he's pitched tonight, not at all. No, he has been lights out, good night to this point.
His first start of the year. He's made a few different relief appearances, but this is certainly the longest we've seen him go. And yeah, no surprise to see him back for the 6th after a dominant 5 innings of work for Zach Volker. 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. As Volker will have to deal with 3, 4, 5. No easy task. It's Andrew Pinckney, followed by Jacob Walsh, and finally Josiah Cromwick, the trio, coming up to bat as Pinckney gets ready to lead it off, and Volker with some run support for the first time tonight. Although it's a packed house tonight, the crowd not making a ton of noise.
I heard him pretty loud and clear when
the home run. Yeah, they came to life. Here comes the first pitch to Pinckney. He dribbles it off himself. 0-1.
And it really does make things that much more impressive when you have a guy that's going out and cruising, getting weak contacts, especially this late into the Cape season when guys are starting to figure the wood bats out. He's making Falmouth's bats look like they just got out into Cape Cod.
Volker with the 0-1 on its way, winds up and fires a breaking ball, and it's going to be a called strike. As they say, Pinckney just brought the bat around. 0-2. Do you go back to the slider again?
Absolutely. I think it's a pitch that you can afford to sacrifice for a ball. See if you can get Pinckney to chase in the dirt.
Here comes the 0-2. That one's lined between short and third for a base hit, so Pinckney down 0-2, spoils a good breaking ball and leads off the inning with a base hit.
Well, there he left the breaking ball a little bit up too high in the plate. I think that's when you want to get down closer to your feet, but instead hangs up just a little too much, and you have a leadoff base runner for the Commodores.
Jacob Walsh now at the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight. First pitch to Walsh, misses inside, 1-0 the count. Here's the 1-0. That misses inside as well, 2-0.
Yeah, so now if you're Volk, you know, you're into the 6th inning of work in this game. You have a lead, but you want to start being careful, because if you allow multiple guys to reach, then that becomes a question of when do you go to the bullpen, how much longer do you keep them out? That's a good recovery there. Nice swing and a miss. Jacob Walsh 0 for 2 on the day thus far, but that's a pretty common stat line considering the way Zach Volker's been performing on the bump thus far.
Volker gets a sign from Proncho, brings home a 2-1, and that evens the count at 2-2 as it's fouled off.
Hey, even I flinched right there.
I did not. You and Drake are a little more squeamish, I guess, for foul balls.
One of our producers, Abby Stokes, almost got taken out by one last night.
That is true. I did see that happen over at Chatham.
I think that spot in Chatham, it's probably the most...
and the 2-2 just misses. 3-2 now the count.
That's a good pitch there by Volker. Really nothing you can do. You don't get the call. Now you have to go back into the strike zone because you don't want to put the first 2 guys on, especially with a walk.
Volker comes set, rocks the leg set, and here's the 3-2 runner goes. It's fouled off. The first base dugout scatters a bit, and the count will hold at 3-2 as Pinckney retreats to first.
Hey guys, make sure the kid has his helmet on, please. Thank you.
Well, you could hear the ask from the home plate umpire right there.
3-2.
Asking the bat boys to make sure they are geared up. Walsh still at the plate. Pinckney gets his lead from first. We'll see if they set him in motion again. Here's the 3-2. Popped foul. Good battle brewing here with Walsh and Volker as Ethan Hammerberg ramps up his activity down the left field line.
You know what I'd give for a double play right now?
What would that be?
I'd give a lot.
A lot.
Maybe some honeydew coffee or donuts.
Here comes a 3-2. Runner goes again. Breaking ball fouled back, and everyone remains in their seat that time.
And every time Walsh fouls another pitch back, you see Ethan Hammerberg ramp up in the bullpen a little bit more. I think there's a good chance if Walsh gets on, they might call to Hammerberg right then and there to finish the job here at the 6th.
Yeah, Volker's gone quite the distance into this ball game. Volker brings home the 3-2. Runner goes again. It misses for ball 4, and that will allow Pinckney to get to second base safely anyway, as Walsh will head down to first with a walk that puts runners on first and second with still nobody out. And here comes Eric Beatty out of the Harbor Hog dugout, and it appears that Zach Volker's day will have come to an end.
Well, how about Zach Volker? He was fantastic today.
5 innings of shutout baseball from Volk, 3 hits, 2 walks, and 3 punch-outs. And he started off by throwing 23 of 24 pitches for a strike, and his efficiency did not tail off as he'll get a standing ovation from the Harbor Hawk crowd here tonight for his efforts. What a job by the Long Beach State right-hander. He will be responsible for the runners on first and second with nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning, which brings Ethan Hammerberg to the mound. We'll tell you more about the Hammer when we return on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
My family earns respect.
My family clears bases.
My family breaks records.
My family wins MVPs.
My family gives everything.
My family makes history.
My family wins championships.
There's no family.
There's no family. There's no family.
There's no family like my family. Join the fam.
Join the fam.
Join the fam.
Welcome back for still the top of the 6th inning, and a new face on the mound is Ethan Hammerberg, the right-hander from the Ohio State University. Hammerberg this season has been one of the most reliable arms for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. In a variety of roles, he's been used to get out of jams with the bases loaded or to go multiple innings in a ball game. We saw him most recently at Orleans on Sunday, where he pitched 2 innings of good, solid shutout baseball. He's got just a .82 ERA through 11 innings on the season to go along with 7 punch-outs. For the guy they call the Hammer, he comes into a tough spot, first and second. Nobody out, and he has to face the 5-hole hitter for the Falmouth Commodores by the name of Josiah Cromwick. Not the easiest spot to enter a game, but Hammerberg's got the makeup and the talent to get out of trouble.
You just have to tip your cap to Nick Johnson, Mazdak Darvari, Zach Chase, the job they have done accumulating these relievers to the point where every other guy that comes in, you look at his stats, you look at how he has helped these Harbor Hawks get into the position they are, and you say, man, it almost feels like one guy after the next. Reliable, consistent, great when the Harbor Hawks need him to be. This is a big spot for Hammerberg. There is a lot on the line tonight.
Here comes the first pitch. Just misses low from Hammerberg. Cromwick thought about bunting. Might not be a bad spot to drop a bunt if you're Falmouth here. Down 1-0. First and second, nobody out. They'd like to come away with a run here. He drops a bunt. This time it's a good one. Hammerberg fields it. He'll fire to first, and it is not in time as the throw is just a bit high and pulled Riku Nishida off the bag. And that will load the bases now for Falmouth with nobody out.
Well, we'll see how they score. It was a good play by Hammerberg. He had to actually barehand it. Great bunt there by Josiah Cromwell. So now you have the bases loaded, nobody out. And it would take a Houdini act to get out of this thing scoreless, but you need to make sure that a baseball here off the bat of Drew Butcher does not get anywhere past, say, the short infield.
So the Hawks will bring the corners in here. They'll sacrifice a run up the middle. They can get a double play to Butcher, who's 0 for 2 tonight. First pitch misses low.
And it's being ruled a hit.
Yeah, an infield single. Probably the right play on that one because, like you said, Zach, Hammerberg had a barehanded and make a quick throw. And although it pulled Riku off the bag, he's only, 5'7", 5'8" over there. So difficult for Riku to stay on and hold the bag in that spot. Here comes the one out of Butcher. Soft contact. It's a bloop single. It's going to get down. A run will score. Patelli can't field it cleanly, but it will only be a run. And sometimes you make a good pitch like you saw there, and it drops in for a hit.
Right pitch. Right result, wrong time. You get the pop-up you need, but everybody shifted pull, and a pitch that Butcher had up in on his hands and was jammed on winds up being costly.
That brings up Corey Collins, the DH, who's 0 for 2 tonight. Bases remain loaded. The game is now tied at 1 apiece after the soft contact single. Harbor Hawks will hold the corners in again. Matulia at first, Jeb at third, both on the grass. Patelli and Nishida the middle infield. Looking to spin 2. Collins takes the first pitch from Hammerberg, low for a ball, 1-0, as Poncho does a nice job keeping it in front of the plate.
That's a really good job by Poncho because we have seen in this Commodore Hawk matchup over this season, the wild pitch has been crucial in how the Harbor Hawks at this point have won 3 against the Commodores. You don't want that to come back to bite you. Good block by Ruiz there.
Here's the 1-0 from Hammerberg, and that one's some loud contact, but fouled off down the left field line, out of play. 1-1 the count now to Corey Collins. Would be a big spot for Collins to come through. He's 6 for 46 this year without an RBI. Hammerberg comes set and brings home the 1-1. That one's another base hit to the left, and Moore makes a diving catch. The runner will tag. Here comes the throw from Christian. It's not in time. So what looked to be a sinking line drive single was saved by Christian Moore to make the diving catch. As they tag up and score, Walsh comes home. They check at third to make sure he didn't leave early. The umpire confirms it, and now Falmouth has gone ahead and taken a 2-1 lead.
Well, momentarily that feels like a win because it could have been so much worse. That's a great play by Moore. Diving catch likely saves at least a run for the time being. But yeah, you were winning this game, now you're behind. So let's see how Hammerberg, neither of those runs are going to be charged to him. They're going to be charged to Volker. Let's see how he responds with a double play possibility that can get him out of the game.
He came in with first and second, made a good pitch, but it was a bloop single. That breaking ball just missed. 1-0 the count now to Anthony McKenzie, who's 1 for 2 tonight. He's got a single. He also has a ground out over to first. Hammerberg comes set, takes a glance at second, and here comes the 1-0. Breaking ball called strike, 1-1 the count.
At this point, if you're Hyannis, if you can get out of this jam, having only surrendered 2, you take that as a huge win. This is a huge spot for Hammerberg, and this is one of those times where first place in the division might be on the line tonight. You have to bear down.
Time is called. One the count. 1 away in the inning as Poncho and the Hammer talk things over on the bump. It was a single to start off the inning, followed up by a walk, a single, and a sac fly which has made it now 2-1 Commodores, both runs coming for them in this inning, the top of the 6th. The Harbor Hawks with the 1 run came in the bottom of the 5th. It was a solo shot by Rocco Pepe. So after 4.5 scoreless innings, we have runs. The 1-1 to McKenzie. Fastball fouled off, 1-2. Hammerberg's ahead. See where he goes here with a strikeout possibly looming would be a big one. Still just 1 out in the inning.
Hammerberg's not typically a guy that strikes a lot out. He's only struck out 7 in 11 innings, and he's more or less done what you expect him to do, generate more weak contacts. Unfortunately, one of them happened to be a bloop single.
Gets the signs from Pancho Ruiz behind the dish. Time is called again. This time requested by Anthony McKenzie, the batter.
Play.
The 1-2, soft ground ball to first. Natolia fields it. He flips on the Hammerberg covering. He steps in the bag for an out. So officially goes down as a 3-1 putout, but really acts as a sacrifice bunt at the end of the day, which puts runners on second and third now with 2 outs.
So that's a big second out. Now you face your number 9 hitter in your lineup. 2 on, 2 outs. A hit up the middle or really anywhere likely scores them both. This is a big spot in this game. Time to see if the Hammer can dig deep and strike.
Hammerberg comes set. Luke Boyer's at the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Here comes the first pitch, called strike, 0-1. Hammerberg gets the signs and brings home the 0-1. That misses outside. 1-1 the count with 2 down in the inning. 2 runs have come across, and now runners on second and third. Boyer's at the dish. As we mentioned earlier, 2021 in the summer, he also spent with Falmouth as a Commodore. Last summer, he had 1 home run, 8 runs driven in. Here comes the 1-1 from the Hammer. Breaking ball misses high, 2-1. Two one, 2 down, and 2 on. Luke Boyers, with Cape Cod experience under his belt, and now a combined 40 games played between last year and this summer, takes the ball. 3-1 the count.
That's a tough pitch to not get called a strike. And now you're in a spot where you really don't want to walk the number 9 hitter, bring the leadoff guy on with the bases loaded. So this is a really, really, really difficult situation for Hammerberg.
See if Ethan can come back in the zone here on 3-1. The pitch is away, and that one is turned on and hit well to right, but it's going to go foul. Boyers missed a home run by maybe 20 feet to the right, but it certainly had the distance.
Missed a home run by 20 feet, and maybe a split second later, that ball's going out, and that's a complete momentum shift. So I wouldn't hang another one up in the inside part of the plate.
Hammerberg, big pitch here, 3-2, 2 away, and 2 men in scoring position. The pitch. That one's hit high and deep to right field. Pepe drifts back. He's camped under it in front of the warning track and makes the catch. So the Hawks face some early adversity as 2 runs come across in the top of the 6th inning as Falmouth storms ahead to take the lead 2-1. Plenty of baseball left as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
What are you looking forward to?
Adding a takeout window.
And more locations.
Paying off my student loans.
Juggling my 4 small businesses and staying sane.
Raising my allowance.
Finishing my painting and starting the next one.
Catching a keeper. Cashing anything.
Making the most of my retirement.
Checking my balance and hopefully having one.
Whatever you want for your family, your business, or your community, talk to us at Cape Cod 5 because we're looking forward to helping you.
This is your time to change your career, to advance your skills, to follow your dream. Curry College continuing in graduate studies. Tomorrow is coming. Be ready.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news, some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Mike Sirota coming up to lead off the inning. Not to be confused with Mike Soroka, the pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. Sirota, the outfielder for Northeastern, has had a solid start tonight as a DH. 1 for 2 with a double. He's also grounded out to short. The two-hitter in the lineup tonight, followed by Cole McConnell and Christian Moore. 2-3-4 for the Hawks as Malone back on the mound. Luke Malone, that is. For his second inning of work, he came in relief of the starter Summers. He fires a strike, 0-1. Malone allowed a solo home run to Rocco Pepe to begin the proceedings in the bottom of the 5th inning, but settled in nicely. Here comes the 0-1. Breaking ball, 0-2, wastes no time getting ahead of Sirota.
Malone has to be careful with the breaking balls.
The 0-2 in the dirt and low, 1-2.
Well, he hung a couple of them up. Pepe took one of them out, and he seems to be placing them a little bit better in this at-bat, but you really have to be careful. If you hang a breaking ball to this lineup right now, they will make you pay.
Wind up and the 1-2 on its way. That's a fastball. It's fouled off, and the count will hold where it is. Well, a handful of scouts in attendance behind home plate as well, measuring the pitch speeds of a couple of the Harbor Hawk pitchers and Commodores as well. With the MLB draft right around the corner, the 1-2 misses outside. July 17th, the date for this year's Major League Baseball draft. Just in a couple of days, I believe that is going to be Sunday. A couple of 2022 Harbor Hawks projected to be drafted as Sirota fouls that one off the plate. They're going to call it a fair ball. Malone flips on to first in time for the first out.
Yeah, he hit it right off a home plate. Sirota hesitated. Wasn't sure if it was fair or foul, and by the time he realized it was a fair ball, he was a little bit too late.
From Louisiana Tech.
So 1 up, 1 down to start it off in the bottom of the 6th inning, which brings up Cole McConnell. Cole is 0 for 2 tonight, but he's put the ball in play both times. And just touching a bit more on some 2022 Hawks that could hear their name called in the MLB draft. Jacob Campbell projected to be selected, as well as Brody McCullough, who recently defected from the Harbor Hawks, possibly Justin Hyannis, the Illinois first baseman. We'll keep you updated. If you don't follow the Harbor Hawks on Twitter, you should definitely do so to be in the know about who gets selected on Sunday, as that one's a called strike. 1-1 to Cole McConnell.
Man, Brody McCullough left Hyannis with, at that point in the season, first in the league in strikeouts.
The 1-1 misses outside. That will certainly help your case in your draft stock, leading the Cape Cod Baseball League in punch-outs.
Also allowed the fewest hits by a pitcher with 18-plus innings. That'll play.
Dominant year for Brody McCullough. Here's a 2-1 breaking ball called strike to McConnell, 2-2. McConnell asks for time for a moment, now steps in as the right-hander Malone delivers a 2-2. It's a good breaking ball. Gets McConnell going down, whiffing for out number 2, as Malone has settled in really nicely after allowing a leadoff home run last inning.
And that's that breaking ball. That's Malone's bread and butter. He couldn't locate it very well in his first inning of work. Now in his second inning, he's placing it much better. McConnell's not an easy hitter to get to fan on the same pitch multiple times. There's your breaking ball, down the way, down the way, down the way. Nice job there by Luke Malone.
Called strike to Christian Moore, 0-1.
I want to talk about night and day from the last inning to this one, huh?
That's been quite the fast-played game tonight for the Hawks. Here comes the 0-1. Moore gets ahead of that breaking ball, sends it on the ground to third. McKenzie's throw pulls the first baseman Walsh off the bag, but he's able to slap the tag on Moore. 1, 2, 3. The Hawks go down in order as Malone settles in and keeps the Hawks bats at bay. 7th inning coming up on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
With Hood Milk, you can trust your family is getting high-quality milk in every nutritious and delicious drop. It begins here on farms that Hood selects, with farmers who uphold the highest standards and who pledge to never use artificial growth hormones. And you'll see that care continue right to your home with our Light Block bottle, which protects the fresh taste of your milk. At Hood, we never stop caring about our milk because you never stop caring about your family. Always good, always Hood.
Gannon's Tavern is the home of incredible wings, handcrafted cocktails, ice-cold beer, and Keno. Their innovative tavern menu features seafood, great sandwiches, steaks grilled to perfection, and stunning specialty dishes. There's no better place to watch your favorite New England pro football team than Gannon's Tavern, in their large bar or outside on their covered deck, complete with TV and sound. Gannon's Tavern, 959 Burses Way, Hyannis. Like them on Facebook and Instagram.
See you soon at Gannon's Tavern.
Welcome back for the top of the 7th inning. Austin Nakuda alongside Zach Berman, and joining us in the booth for maybe the remainder of the game is our sideline reporter, Bria Losick. Bria, welcome up into the broadcast booth.
Thanks, Austin. It's great to be up here. Not my usual spot, but definitely a very fun view up here.
Well, they say there's no better view on Cape Cod than the press box here at McKeon Park, as we'll get to see the Commodores come back up to the dish, and top of the order due up, Alex Mooney, Colby Halter, and Andrew Pinckney, the trio coming up to the bat for the Doors. Mooney today is 0 for 2. He's reached on a hit by pitch, as Ethan Hammerberg returns to the mound for what could be his second inning of work. There's the windup, first pitch from Hammerberg, breaking ball, called strike.
I think we see a more relaxed and more in control Ethan Hammerberg here. He's not coming in with 2 on and nobody out. This is his inning.
Here's the 0-1, fouled off, 0-2. Now, Bria, we mentioned earlier in the game that Jorge Corona has joined the team as one of the 2 catchers. Now, Poncho behind the plate right now, but I'll get to you in the next pitch before Hammerberg's 0-2. It's a breaking ball. He gets Mooney to swing through it for out number 1, as Poncho's calling a good game tonight. But Bria, you talked a little bit with Jorge before yesterday's game, who he called a terrific game behind the dish against Chatham.
I did, and actually Jorge's first day as a Harbor Hawk was at the Fenway Scout Day. He said that he went straight from the airport to Fenway Park and had his suitcase there and everything. That was his first action on the Cape, so no rest for Jorge Corona. He just stepped right in.
That's not a bad place to meet your team, as the first pitch to Colby Halter's a called strike. I mean, saved him a little bit of travel time rather than coming down to the Cape, then going back to Boston. I assume he flew into Logan and just went right to Fenway Park. Not too bad.
It's a 10-minute drive, Uber, T-ride.
Depending on traffic, yeah, you get there pretty quick. Here's the 0-1 to Halter, fouls it off. And I'm sure Corona is happy to have a day off today after a long day of travel. A game yesterday. I'm sure he's getting some rest. Halter, 1 for 3 tonight with a double. He has gone down swinging in his last at-bat, in danger of doing so again here. Here's the 0-2 from Hammerberg, and Halter lifts it to left field. Christian Moore retreats, circles back, makes the catch, 2 up, 2 down, as the Hammer has settled in nicely here in the 7th.
Yeah, I'm sure Jorge Corona was feeling quite lucky that he had to just go straight to Fenway Park. And if you're feeling lucky, you should play the Massachusetts State Lottery. As a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, the Massachusetts State Lottery is celebrating the games Lee loved playing, from the baseball diamond to the many lottery games that help support all 351 cities and towns across the Commonwealth. So here's to 50 years of winning and 50 more.
Andrew Pinckney up to the plate now for the 4th time tonight. He's 1 for 3, that is, with a single and a run scored.
I think it's the fastest I've gotten through an ad read all year. Whew.
Not bad at all, Mr. Berman. Pinckney cracks that one on the ground at first. Matulia has a hit off his glove, and Pinckney is going to reach on. We'll see what they rule it over at first. It was a hot shot, but it looked like it just hit the heel of the glove for Phillip.
Yeah, Matulia, it hit right off the heel of the glove and bounced away. That's, you know, maybe it's a little bit more difficult of a play because Matulia is not a naturalized first baseman at that. But still, you're not in a bad spot. You've got 2 out, 1 on.
Jacob Walsh now stands at the plate, who's 1 for 3 with or 0 for 2 that is. That was reading the wrong line there. He's walked and scored, and he takes a breaking ball that just misses. Hammerberg likes to start hitters off with the bender. She couldn't locate it for a strike yet. Pinckney gets his lead at first. Hammer comes set. Here comes the 1-0. Runner goes. The pitch is a ball to throw to second by Poncho. Skips in, is not in time. Stolen base there by Pinckney. Puts a runner in scoring position. And they have ruled the last play an error on Matulia over at first. So after Pinckney reaches on the error, wastes no time swiping a bag. With 2 down, the count's now 2-0 to Walsh. And he has a duck on the pond over at second, looking to expand on the Commodore lead. Here comes the 2-0 from Hammerberg. That pitch just misses outside, 3-0.
That's a tough pitch to miss on, and now you're in a tough spot because you don't want to walk another guy and put 2 on with nobody out, or with 2 outs. And Poncho was thinking about going out and talking to, and they're just going to give him the...
So no, what happened was Beatty had stepped out of the dugout, and Poncho thought he was going to go to the mound. And he stepped in front of home because he thought Beatty was coming to the mound, so the catcher goes to the mound for the visit. But all Beatty was saying was just put the runner on. So they do just that. They'll walk Walsh automatically as the count went to 3-0. And that brings up Josiah Cromwick, who is 1 for 2 tonight with a single and a walk. And he's got men on first and second with 2 outs.
And would you look who's warming in the bullpen? None other than friend of the broadcast booth, Wes Burton.
See if they go to Wes, maybe for the 8th inning. Here's the top of the 7th, 2 down. That pitch misses low from Hammerberg. Struggling to find his command a bit here, but he's been solid still. Working through it. 1-0 the count. Hammerberg comes set. Here's the 1-0. That one's lined to right field for a base hit. Cromwick put it where the Hawks weren't, and it's an RBI single as Pinckney comes around to score, and the Commodores jump ahead to 3-1.
And that's why you say beware the free pass. You have to be careful not to walk guys on. And that's once again, another tough break for Hammerberg as he was it was the E3.
The E3 by Matulia extended the inning, so the run's going to be unearned for the Hammer. So now first and second, 2 outs, looking to get out of this inning without further damage, but he has to avoid Drew Brutcher, who has served to be a tough out. 1 for 3 with an RBI single. Did damage the last time these 2 teams met via a 3-run home run. Here comes the first pitch from Hammerberg to Brutcher. Fastball, called strike. Hammerberg is back in the zone. Phil Matulia now at first base today, as we mentioned. He's played first, left, center, and right, and he's pitched. And Bria, you talked to him a bit about that pitching performance and his versatility. I know he was thrilled to be moved around the field a bit.
Yes, definitely. He said that...
That pitch is called strike.
He said that he was talking to Poncho Ruiz, who was catching him that day, and he was instructed only to throw fastballs. And Matt Shaw, the leading hitter in the league, comes up to the plate, and he said, you know what, I'm going to just throw out my slider. Why not? Strikes him out.
It's a pretty good slider at that by Matulia. Now Hammerberg might have to go to his own. Here comes the 0-2 to Brutcher. Breaking ball. Did he go? They'll check, and with Mickey Garcia, he says no, he did not. Count moves to 1-2.
Surprised they say he went through. It looked like a pretty decent follow-through there by Brutcher. But this is where you have to shake off. Maybe you don't get a call. Let's see how Hammerberg responds.
There's the 1-2, fouled off the netting as Butcher stays alive.
Commodores trying to get back in the win column, trying to gain ground on the Wareham Gateman. Trail 4-0 against the Harwich Mariners.
Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Down goes Butcher. So Hammerberg works out of further trouble. The Commodores do get an unearned run across as they now push their lead to 3-1. And it's time to stretch at McKeon Park as we give way to the organ here at the ballpark, and we'll take a break.
When it comes to buying or selling a home, you need a partner, not just an agent. For over 50 years, Gibson Sotheby's International Realty has set the standard in excellence and performance. A seasoned team that has thrived throughout all markets. Our agents live and work in your neighborhood and understand you. We are over 170 agents strong, backed by an in-house marketing team and global reach that is second to none.
From studios to penthouses, purchasing to renting, our team provides unparalleled real estate services.
This is your time to change your career, to advance your skills, to follow your dream. Curry College Continuing and Graduate Studies. Tomorrow is coming. Be ready.
I'm defeated, feel mistreated. I'm so angry, I'm singing a song. 'Cause I'm paying so much for home internet, and that's just wrong.
I've got T-Mobile home internet. I feel happy. Great. Very happy.
Good for you.
Look how much money I'm saving right now.
Wait, really?
There's no hidden fees, no price hikes, one core.
Bro, wow.
Internet without BS.
Welcome back as the Commodores have made a couple defensive changes here for the start of the bottom of the 7th inning. Colby Halter shifts over to third base as Anthony McKenzie comes out, and Jackson Nicholas comes into the game over at second base. Also a new pitcher on the mound for the Commodores as it's the right-hander who just finished his warm-up tosses by the name of Josh Stewart. Zach?
Well, Stewart has been a shutdown guy for Falmouth out of University of Texas. 4 appearances, 7.2 innings, 11 strikeouts to 1 walk, and an ERA of 0.00.
7 2/3 scoreless. That's definitely a tough arm to face now in the bottom of the 7th inning, but Dom Pitelli, a guy with some power recently, Bria.
Yeah, definitely. Didn't start out with that power at the beginning of the season, but now one of the hottest hitters in the league in the past 10 days.
So Pitelli will look to get the ball rolling here for the Hawks in the bottom of the 7th. Goes after a first pitch changeup, but comes up empty, 0-1.
Well, it's not the first time the Hawks have seen Josh Stewart. They saw him on June 29th in a game Hyannis. Eventually won 5-1, but Stewart did go 2 scoreless in that game.
Here's the windup and the 0-1. Breaking ball in the dirt, 1-1 the count now, as Wes Burton still standing up in the Harbor Hawk bullpen. Not too sure yet if he'll be coming in for the next inning or not. Right now the Hawks just concerned with Stewart on the mound. Here comes the 1-1 to Pitelli. Fastball, tried to shoot the corner but just missed. Count moves to 2-1 in the favor of Dom.
Well, it's a tight zone tonight. We haven't seen either teams get that outside corner like they usually do.
The 2-1 high chopper to first. Played on a hop by Walsh. He takes it to the bag himself for the out.
Well, I can tell you this. If the Harbor Hawks can pull one out tonight, they will officially jump the Kettleers for first place as Katuit, who went into the top of the 8th, scoreless with Orleans, winds up losing 6-0. So how about that?
So the Hawks with a chance to take first place for the first time in, well, quite some time. Here comes the pitch to Rocco Pepe, goes after it, skies it foul. Now Rocco, 1 for 2 tonight with a solo home run, the lone run the Hawks have pushed across to this point. The windup and the 0-1. Stewart's pitch, called strike, 0-2.
Well, there's the hater from Stewart, and that's really what he relies on. Great pitch, great placement, outside part of the plate.
That one's hit on the ground, fouled, past the diving glove of Walsh. We'll have to do it again.
Well, that was almost a ridiculous play there by Walsh.
Stewart takes a big, deep breath. The right-hander from Texas winds up, brings home the 0-2 to Pepe. It's a breaking ball that misses low, 1-2.
Well, Stewart in his 10 appearances with Texas went 11 2/3 innings, an ERA of 4.63. Now entered the transfer portal, so he's not going back to UT.
Here's the 1-2. Pepe fouls off the breaking ball. A tough pitch to throw to Rocco, who has punished breaking balls in the last couple of days, and in that instance, he fights it off. See where Stewart goes ahead in the count.
Yeah, that's what I'd stay away from if you're Stewart. You really don't want to go after a breaking ball specialist, I'd say, in Rocco Pepe with breaking balls.
Stewart gets the signs, brings home the 1-2. It's a fastball. Pepe takes it to right field, high and deep. Ranging back is Butcher. He's going to come in and make the catch just before the warning track for out number 2, and Rocco put a pretty good charge into that one, and Bria, that's kind of his goal this summer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the plate, at his core, Rocco Pepe is just a very simple dude. He just says that his goal is just to hit the white ball. Now that sounds like sarcasm, but really that's just Rocco playing it simple. He doesn't think too much when he's at the plate. He doesn't go too much into the logistical side of it. He just plays his game.
That brings up Pancho Ruiz with 2 down in the inning. Here comes the pitch from Stewart, fastball called strike, and Stewart has worked quickly, and he's given the Harbor Hawks hitters some trouble. Although they've made a couple of contacts, nothing doing yet for the Hawks here in the bottom of the 7th.
And we've had a couple warning track shots tonight from Hyannis too. A couple balls in, if they go a little bit further, we might have a very different ball game than what we have right now.
Here comes the 0-1 to Pancho. Just missed a bit, 1-1. That one misses low, and 2-1 the count. Pancho fouls it off. The count will move to 2-2.
Now this is a huge spot for Pancho Ruiz. You're sitting here waiting. When is that light tower power that we've seen in BP? We've seen it at Fenway. Wouldn't be a pretty good time for some Pancho pop right now, would you say?
Led San Diego State in home runs and really put on a show at Fenway Park. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball. Pancho slaps it back up the middle. Slide by Mooney. The throw to first is in time. What a play by Alex Mooney at short. He saves a base hit, ends the inning as Stewart retires the Hawks in order. 8th inning coming up on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
When you need a better place to work, CapeSpace is the place to turn. In today's changing work environment, shared workspaces offer a flexible and affordable alternative to conventional office space. At CapeSpace, we offer a wide range of membership packages to suit your professional needs, complete with office amenities like high-speed Wi-Fi, coffee, printing stations, reception service, and private meeting rooms. Visit our website today to learn more.
UFOS Active Recovery. Because life keeps you on your toes. Because you want to shine when you rise. UFOM technology absorbs impact with every step, so your body doesn't have to. Because standing still gets you nowhere. Get yours today at ufos.com. Feel better. Feel the U.
Welcome back for the 8th inning, and the Harbor Hawks have a new arm on the mound. Zach Berman.
Well, it is none other than friend of the broadcast booth and Chipotle connoisseur Wes Burton. And Wes has had a pretty good season up to this point, Mr. Dakuda.
And that he has. Burton will look to keep the Harbor Hawks right in the game as they trailed 2 runs, but still plenty of baseball left if Wes can manage to navigate the Commodore lineup and keep the game right where it is. Burton didn't pitch a ton at Ole Miss this season, so ramping up his activity, and he's become a reliable arm out of the Harbor Hawk arm barn for the Hyannis squad, who looks to take over first place if they can come back and win this game with a Katuitt-Kettleer loss earlier in the day.
Well, there you go. If a win puts you in front, a loss keeps you half a game back, and a tie, well, it ties you. But
yep,
that'll do it.
That will do it. That's well,
a tie does tie you.
Yeah, there's your math.
The Hawks have to deal with 7, 8, 9 here. Corey Collins, Anthony McKenzie, and Luke Boyers. The trio up for Wes Burton, the right-hander from Ole Miss. Good fastball velocity. We've seen him touch up to 94 here at McKeon Park.
It's not going to be McKenzie. It's going to be Jackson Nicholas, the pinch
hitter. Collins, Nicholas, followed by Boyers. We'll see if that's how they end up making the subs. So for now, it's Corey Collins, who is 0 for 2. He has a sac fly RBI tonight as well on his line. Burton, the right-hander, lines up, brings home the first pitch to Collins. It's a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike. Wes Burton comes into this appearance, 5 1/3, 4 strikeouts on the year. Here comes the 0-1 from Wes. Breaking ball misses outside, count evens up. One the count. Here's the pitch. That misses. 2-1 the count now to Collins and Wes Burton. Zach, have we memorized his Chipotle order yet?
All I know is it's white rice and steak. That's Bree. You've had the discussions with him.
I have had many discussions with him on this.
Fastball misses high. 3-1 from, as Zach called him, the Chipotle connoisseur.
Yes, I've even interviewed him about it, and he went step by step of what his order is. But I have to say I don't remember it. I'm not gonna lie. But I have seen him in the Chipotle line many times, so can confirm.
3-1, a called strike, moves the count to full.
It's a good pitch there from Wes. We have mentioned, and Wes is actually, he's grilled us about it a little bit for mentioning it, but, you know, the walks were the issue at Ole Miss, and they've not been as prevalent here, but they've still been the case, 6 walks to 4 strikeouts.
Here's the 3-2, lined back off the netting. The count will hold at full.
I believe we were in Wareham, and I brought something up about the walks. We were up in the cage that we'll be up in tomorrow night, and Wes, after the game, he comes up and he's like, dude, I could hear everything you were saying.
Yeah, Wareham, you're right above the field, so it's pretty easy for the guys to hear all their stats being spewed out onto the broadcast. Here's the 3-2. That one's fouled off. Nice play made by the first base coach, almost. He kicked it under the fence.
Well, we will be in Wareham tomorrow evening, not night, 5 p.m.
Originally scheduled for a 6 p.m. start, but Wareham at Spillane Field having some light issues, so the game time has been moved up to 5 p.m. Burton winds up. Here's a 3-2 to Collins. Fastball just missed a bit inside. Burton brought home a good one. Just missed the zone maybe by 6 inches, and that puts the leadoff man aboard on the free pass.
That's a tough break. That's a really good pitch, and you have to credit Corey Collins. Most batters in this league will swing at that pitch. He held off, and a great job of doing so.
Anthony McKenzie now at the plate, or was McKenzie's spot, that is, but it's going to be, looks like Jackson Nicholas. And that is exactly who it is. Jackson Nicholas coming up to the plate for the first time tonight. Bats in the left-handed batter's box. Comes from the University of Oklahoma. Does Nicholas. He's an infielder. Seen him moved into second base.
I'm sure you're wondering why he goes by Jackson and not Jack. Well, Jack Nicklaus, no relation, one of the best golfers of all time.
Is that why he goes by Jack and not Jackson? Or Jackson, not Jack?
I would assume it is to
I don't know.
clarify.
Well, about a 50-year age difference between the two, as that one misses and the count moves to 1-1.
Yeah, you literally, you Google Jackson Nicklaus, the first thing that comes up is Oklahoma infielder Jackson Nicklaus related to Jack Nicklaus?
Well,
do tell.
In a word, no. That's what it says. Not in any discernible way. Not related to the 18-time major winner.
Here's the 1-1. Just misses a bit high. 2-1 the count now to Jackson Nicklaus. You a big golf guy, Zach?
I know you're a big golf guy.
Well, I'm not very good at it.
Neither am I.
I do know who Jack Nicklaus is. Bria, how about you?
I am not a big golfer. I have actually never golfed in my life.
Okay.
So there's that.
You know who Jack Nicklaus is?
Oh, there
no,
goes
but
the
I know
crowd
who Jackson Nicklaus is.
Right, and that's the man at the dish.
Jackson Nicklaus also hit a grand slam off of West Burton's Ole Miss Rebels in the College World Series. Or excuse me, no, he didn't hit it off of Ole Miss. He hit it off of A&M. My bad.
So, no connection to West Burton.
No connection.
Here's the 2-2. Pop foul out of play. Well, at least you know he has some power.
Oh, whatever that hit.
A bleacher.
Yeah. Well, he had 10 homers this past year at Oklahoma, 289 average, 30 RBIs. If you remember correctly, Nicklaus came in as the tying run in that 5-4 win that the Hawks had in Falmouth a week ago, and that was when Eric Beatty pivoted to Jordy Allard, and Allard struck him out, and that was that.
At the dish now with a man on first by the name of Corey Collins after a walk. Nobody out. Here's the 2-2. Burton brings home a breaking ball that misses. Count moves to 3-2. Nicklaus came in defensively for McKenzie, but Nicklaus would go over to second base and Colby Halter to third. As he's now at the plate, looking to extend the inning or extend the streak of on base for the Commodores. Here's a 3-2. Misses inside. Back-to-back walks issued for West Burton, which puts Doors on first and second with nobody out. That's going to bring up the 9-hitter from TCU, Luke Boyers, who is 0 for 3 tonight. But for West Burton, a difficult situation here, Bria, for him to try to work out of.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at least you have the force out at third and second, so literally anything into play, it shouldn't be a problem, but you really don't want to be working too much into that first top of the order, so this would be a big out.
Would be a big out indeed. The 9-hitter here with Mooney on deck, the leadoff. Boyer shows bunt, pulls it back as Burton misses for a ball.
It looks like West might be overpowering just a bit. There might be a lot of adrenaline. He seems to be throwing harder than usual. That could be a culprit of why he might be missing his spots early on.
Burton nods at Poncho Ruiz and comes set now. First and second. Nobody out. Here's the pitch. Boyers pops it up. Ruiz running hard. It's going to go into the netting. Foul, 1-1. So a good pitch from Burton spoils a bunt attempt. But the bunt here, a dangerous spot to be in because it could very easily put runners on second and third with one out if the Hawks are able to get an out of it.
And looking, there is a little bit of action in the Harbor Hawks arm barn.
Can't tell who it is because it's a right-hander with a sweatshirt on. So
well, there's someone else that's got a number. Is that
someone else that has a number? He's not warming though. That's Hammerberg who just pitched.
Okay, I was about to say.
Here's the 1-1. Boyer shows bunt, pulls it back as a pitch misses low for a ball. 2-1.
Okay, so now Kevin Ohm is going to come out.
Yeah. Burton walked the first two guys he faced, and now is behind 2-1. So Kevin Ohm comes to the mound to talk things over with his 6'8" right-hander from Ole Miss, who is struggling to find his command a bit. But Burton could very easily work himself out of this inning. Double play is in order.
All it takes is one ground ball, and the entire inning shifts.
Boyers has hit the ball on the ground once. He's struck out once, and he's flown out to right once. So 0 for 3. See if Burton can induce one of those ground balls and try to make some headway into getting his team out of this inning.
I mean, this inning could turn around fast, and you know who else is really fast? Or should I say they have fast wireless service? That would be T-Mobile, and they are proud to sponsor the Cape Cod Baseball League. T-Mobile is committing to serving those who serve, and that's why they go above and beyond for active duty military, veterans, and first responders. Visit your neighborhood T-Mobile store or T-Mobile.com to learn more.
Well, thank you, T-Mobile, for apparently sponsoring the mound visit, as now Burton will retreat to the bump with a 2-1 count. Runners on first and second with nobody out, and Luke Boyer's at the plate. Here comes the 2-1. Boyer shows bunt again. He pops it up again. That one's going to get over the netting and into the crowd. So Boyers has shown bunt twice, popped it out of play twice, and we're at a 2-2 count. If you're Wes Burton, Zach, where do you go here?
Strike pitch.
Fastball or a breaking ball?
I could toy with a breaking ball here.
Here comes the 2-2 from Wes Burton as a long look at the runner, and he'll just step off. Look back, Collins over to second. Nicholas over at first. They both reached on the free pass from Wes Burton.
Wes only 4 strikeouts, or punchies as he likes to call them. I'm sure he'd like to add some more here. There's the breaking ball.
Burton records the strikeout, and that's a huge out, number 1. Now a double play could very much get you out of this inning.
That's a great pitch by Burton. A little bit up high, has some movement to it, gets a little bit of a wave, and now you're 1 pitch away, theoretically, from getting out of this inning, but you have to contend with the dangerous Alex Mooney, who made a ridiculous play in the last half inning.
So Mooney now the chance to add on to the Commodore lead. They're up 3-1. Here comes the first pitch. He goes after it. High chopper foul down the third base line. So Burton gets ahead of the shortstop, who's had a slow day at the plate, but a dominant day defensively. As Mooney's 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch. His 5th time coming up to the plate tonight. But the Commodores have only scored 3 runs.
Well, so much of that has to be credited to Zach Volker, who is just fantastic today. But the Harbor Hawks, they got to get out of this, and they got to pick the bats up a little bit if they want a chance to jump to it and get to first.
Here's the 0-1 from Burton. Fastball misses for a ball. 1-1. The count evens up with 1 away. 2 runners on as we approach 2.5 hours into this ball game. If you're just joining us, Austin Nakuda, Zach Berman, Bria Losick in the broadcast booth as we are calling a game. The Harbor Hawks got off to a slow start offensively. They haven't really picked it up too much as Falmouth got off to even of a slower start through 5 scoreless, but they've started to pick it up now as that one skied to right center field. Rocco Pepe moves under it and makes the catch for the second out. So Wes Burton, after the Kevin Ohm T-Mobile mound visit, seemed to have turned things around, Zach. 2 straight outs.
Well, before we speak too soon, now you got to contend with likely the most dangerous hitter on this Falmouth Commodore lineup, and that's Colby Halter. And after the double, he's gone pretty quietly since then, but he's been feeling it at the plate as of late. SEC versus SEC, you have to be careful here.
Yeah, 1 for 4 with a double, but the best hitter statistically in this Falmouth lineup can really do damage. Halter at .329 on the year, 5 homers, 11 runs driven in. 2 outs in the inning for Wes Burton. He comes set, takes a glance at the runner on second a couple of times, now brings home the first pitch to Halter. It's a fastball above the letters, 1-0. The Harbor Hawks are no strangers to being down heading into the late innings, but we've seen them basically be resilient every single game they've played. That's been a situation like this, maybe down 3-1. We've seen it at Brewster. We've seen it at home against YD.
We've seen it against Falmouth.
We've seen it away against YD. We've seen it against Falmouth, as that one is a big swing and a miss by Halter, 1-1. I mean, they just don't quit. So although the score says 3-1 and we're in the top of the 8th, I wouldn't just count the Hawks out yet, Bria.
You can never count this team out.
especially with the bullpen. I mean, any guy that you put on the mound, you feel confident that he can get some outs.
Yeah, they're trying to slam the door here by way of Wes Burton in the top of the 8th and keep it just a 2-run game. Here's the 1-1 to Halter. Fastball just missed inside, 2-1. Wes liked it. That's a strike you don't see called, though, in the league. Bria, you're going to see the outside strike, not necessarily the inside pitch.
And that's the second time that Wes has gone there and not gotten the call, so I'm not sure if he'll really lean toward there again.
Now we'll see how Burton makes the adjustment to the inside strike not being there. Comes set now for the 2-1 with 2 away. Here's the pitch from Wes. Inside, 3-1.
Well, now you have to be really, really, really careful. It might not be the worst case scenario to walk Halter here because it's a 3-1 count. Halter's going to be looking at something down the plate the whole way. And if you give him anything, you could pay the price. I'm sure Wes, who's an SEC guy, knows Halter, knows how to attack him to a certain extent. Let's see what he gives this really, really dangerous lefty bat.
Wouldn't be tough to load the bases to face the 3-hitter Andrew Pinckney, but Halter certainly is the most dangerous bat, so we'll see if they work around him. But at least, Zach, if you get to Pinckney, it's righty-righty.
Right.
You know, Burton's probably more comfortable facing him. But Halter certainly a dangerous task at hand. 3-1, first and second with 2 away in the top of the 8th inning. Here's a pitch from Burton. Fastball foul tip, hung on to by Poncho, and now the count moves to 3-2.
And I like this situation a lot more if you're Wes Burton, and the reason of that being that Colby Halter is a great baseball player. There's no doubt about it, but that one weakness he has is the strikeout. He struck out 66 times this past season at Florida. He's already struck out 22 times here as a Falmouth Commodore this season, 23 after tonight.
Big pitch upcoming. 3-2, 2 down in the inning, first and second. Both the runners will be off on the pitch. Halter at the plate. Burton checks the runner a couple of times. Here comes the payoff pitch as Burton says, not just yet, you're going to have to wait a little longer as he steps off and looks Collins back into the bag. It's Collins on second. Nicholas over at first. Halter at the plate, facing a 3-2 count with 2 down. Both runners in motion as Burton comes set. Here's the payoff pitch from Wes. It's a fastball, and it just misses a bit high for ball 4.
I don't dislike the approach there. I just think that the strike zone today is particularly tight. I don't know if that's something that you throw expecting to get the call right now.
So that brings up Andrew Pinckney with the bases loaded, and Pinckney's been pretty good today, 1 for 4 with a hit and 2 runs scored on his line. He also has stolen a base. His last at-bat, he reached via an error, and he's yet to strike out today. So there's one thing with Pinckney. He's been putting the ball in play, which could be very dangerous for the Hawks here with the bases loaded. First pitch from Burton to Pinckney. Fastball misses outside and high for a ball.
Yeah, and that's something, if you're Poncho Ruiz, immediately you walk out and say, okay, what is your approach here? And Poncho is going to have a couple words with Wes. And this is the game right here. You really do not want to let Falmouth get out any more in front, considering the bats have been kind of silent tonight, but at the same time, the Harbor Hawks have shown the ability to come back. But if you allow any more than a 2-run deficit, those odds, you know, they drop drastically.
Burton comes set with the bases loaded, the 1-0 to Pinckney. He gets him swinging at a nice changeup from Wes. Went down in the zone. Pinckney chased a bit, and now the count's at 1-1, and Burton has a chance to work himself out of trouble. One, 2 down, bases loaded for Wes. It's a trio of walks. Started off the inning with a walk to Collins, followed up by a walk to Nicholas, a strikeout and a flyout, followed up by a third walk to Halter, and now he's behind 2-1 to Andrew Pinckney with no place to put him. Burton nods with some enthusiasm at Poncho.
Oh, you see something he likes.
Gets the sign and comes set. Nobody being held on the base pass. The 2-1 from Burton finds the outside corner for a strike. Big pitch from Wes upcoming now.
Well, now you know why there was the smile on that interaction between Wes and Poncho. I'd say throw the strike pitch, but here's where I go breaking ball inside part of the plate. Pinckney's already missed at it once. Wonder if he goes back.
The 2-2 misses high. Poncho just saved one from sailing to the backstop, but now on 3-2 with 2 away, you have nowhere to put Pinckney, and the runners are going to be in motion again. Everyone off of their bases on the pitch. It's Collins at third, Nicholas at second, Halter at first, so good speed on first and second. So Burton has to be careful here. No place to put Pinckney.
Hold your nose, close your eyes, throw something in the zone, and hope for the best.
Here's the payoff pitch from Burton. Fastball, he got him! Wes Burton fired up after working himself into and out of a bases-loaded jam. Keeps us right where we are as the Harbor Hawks trail 2, but he's certainly fired up the dugout and given some momentum to Hyannis as we have the bottom of the 8th upcoming on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
Best ever? Good question. Wait, why do you sound like Dr. J in your head? I've always sounded like Dr. J in my head, which means Dr. J's outside voice sounds like my inside voice? Which Coke? The doc would know. He got the world to call him doctor without going to med school. There's only one best ever.
If you live here, fun is your thing. If you live here, tough is your thing. Smart is your thing. Caring is your thing. If you live in Massachusetts, community is your thing. Since 1972, the Massachusetts State Lottery has provided over $25 billion to help cities and towns with the things they need most. If you live here, giving is your thing.
When Alaska Airlines needed a partner for the complex operations of travel, they made the switch to T-Mobile. Our 5G has Alaska Airlines and their customers covered, from major hubs to remote destinations, with 5G coverage ready now for the demands of today and the future. T-Mobile's network powers Alaska Airlines as they deliver next-level care for all customers. 5G ready now. That's how unconventional thinking is better for business.
All right, the Harbor Hawks with 6 outs to work with, trailing 2 runs, as Phil Mantulia will lead it off, followed by Riku Nishida and Mitch Jebb. Austin Nakuda alongside my good friends Zach Berman and Bria Losick for the bottom of the 8th inning, and the energy seemed to have shifted in the dugout with that last out, Bria, and you see Wes Burton fired up a bit.
Yeah, that last out was a big one, worked himself into a bases-loaded jam and then worked himself out of it, and just saw that fist pump right as he went into the dugout.
Called strike to Mantulia, but based on his couple of at-bats today, Zach, is there anybody else you'd rather have at the plate than Phil Mantulia?
Mantulia, Riku, Jebb, and those 3 have been about as impressive as it gets.
The 8th inning here, bottom of the 8th, might be your best spot to put across a couple of runs, but Stewart's back on the mound, and he worked quickly. 1, 2, 3, he sat the Harbor Hawks down in order in the bottom of the 7th, but 8, 9, 1, and essentially with Nishida in the 9 hole, it's almost a double leadoff. So have a really good chance here for the Harbor Hawks to do some damage. Mantulia fouls it off of Cromwick as that one just caught him a little bit in an uncomfortable position. So he'll take a moment as the umpire trots to the mound to give the catcher some time. And now Mantulia is behind in the count 1-2.
Hey, Austin, where were you on Friday the 17th of June? Actually, I believe you were on the play-by-play mic. You were on the call for that game. And what happened in that game? The score of that game was Falmouth 3, Hyannis 1, bottom of the 8th inning, and what ended up happening?
The Harbor Hawks ended up winning that ball game, if I remember correctly.
Sounds familiar.
Can lightning strike twice?
That's the question. The Hawks would like that to happen here. Mantulia is behind 1-2, the pitch from Stewart, fastball line foul.
Well, it was Andrew Pinckney who committed an error in center field that allowed the tying 2 runs to score, and then it was a walk-off wild pitch, I believe.
So Mantulia Fights off another. Here's the 1-2. And he goes after a nice slider in the dirt. And Matuli is retired for out number 1. A nice pitch there from Josh Stewart. Sometimes you just have to tip your cap to good pitching.
The second baseman.
Yeah, there's a reason Josh Stewart has come into this game with the stat line he has. He is absolutely nasty. And at the very least, you want Riku Nishida to do what he does best and drive his pitch count up right here. Because even if you don't score in the 8th, not a guy you want to face in the 9th.
Riku at the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Made contact both times as he does best. He watches a fastball outside for ball 1. Riku, certainly one of the most interesting players on the team. And Bria, you've spent a couple of times interviewing him as he's been the Roll-A-Bump Limited Player of the Game a handful of times this year. Nishida drops a bunt. There's a reason they call Riku the toughest out on Cape Cod as he reaches first base safely on an infield single on the bunt.
That was just a perfectly placed bunt on the third base side, and also the speed that Riku has is just unmatched. We saw it at Fenway. I mean, he was blowing the scouts away with his speed during that 60-second run.
Hey, Colby Halter makes a great play, the bare hand play. Most base runners on Cape Cod, he might actually get them out there.
I mean, I was surprised a bit to see how close he made it with Riku's speed. Now you have a man on, tying run at the plate now as Jeb watches a fastball outside. And Mitch Jebb's last at bat, he skied one pretty far to right field that just missed a home run by maybe 5 feet. So we'll see if Jeb can unlock that power again here.
Hey, he had 6 bombs at Michigan State this past spring. He's got it in him.
Here's the 1-0. Nishida's off on the pitch. That's outside. It was a designed pitch out. The throw to second, still not in time. You can pitch out. You can throw a fastball in the right-handed batter's box, but you are still not going to get the leader in stolen bases in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Riku Nishida gets another.
And amazingly so. That just shows the sheer speed of Riku Nishida, because that was an expertly executed pitch out and a great throw by Cromwick to boot. Even when you do everything right, it's going to take a lot more than that to catch Riku Nishida.
And although Nishida's run on second only brings you within a run, it takes away the double play, which is huge for the Hawks in this situation.
Riku Nishida tying his cleats, and now he's rubbing something. I don't know what.
He it looks like he had some dirt or a rock stuck in the cleat. He shook it out, and now we'll retie that. As Mitch Jebb's now facing a 2-0 count. And as we talked about before they came up to the plate, Nishida and Jebb, you're got a really good chance here to get a run across. Stewart confirms the signs from Cromwick. Now he comes set. Nishida on second, Jebb at the dish, the 2-0. Mitch fouls it off.
I like that swing there if you're Mitch. That was up in the zone, didn't miss it by much. He already hit 1 to the warning track today. I don't think you try for power necessarily here. Even if you don't get 2 in the 8th, you just want to see. This is the time for one of those signature inside-out Mitch Jebb swings and a base hit to left field.
Stewart facing a 2-1 count. Here's the pitch to Jebb. Tried to get the inside corner, but Bria, we talked about it last inning. The inside strike you're not going to get. It's a tough pitch to try to fight off if you're a hitter, but if you're Stewart, it's just too far inside to try to establish that part of the zone.
That's a gutsy pitch to lay off in this spot, too.
Learned the zone pretty well, as Mitch Jebb. 3-1 the count now. Here's the pitch from Stewart. Misses low, ball 4. The Hyannis Harbor Hawks, as Riku's going to third. Riku just caught the Commodore sleeping.
This man is an absolute weapon on the base paths.
So now first and third and 1 out, in the Harbor Hawks, who had just 1 run across their first 7 innings, have first and third with 1 out here. Tying run over at first, and he's got speed by the name of Mitch Jebb. You're bringing a guy to the plate by the name of Mike Sirota, who's 1 for 3 with a double, and it would be, in his first couple of days as a Hawk, what a time it would be for Sirota to come through here.
I believe this is the first game he's played as a Harbor Hawk at McKeon Park.
That is true. He made his debut in the field, I want to say, at Cotuit.
At Cotuit, yes.
Followed
He's played here once this season as a Brewster Whitecap. but man,
so,
oh man,
Zach
what a spot.
And Bria, I'll ask you guys, is Mitch Jebb off on one of these pitches to try to steal second?
I think he has to be.
Bria?
I think he absolutely has to be. But how about this? Second time today, and now time is called, and I think there's might even have a pitching change here.
Yep.
The second time today that a Harbor Hawk has taken third base, catching Falmouth sleeping. Philip Matulia did it earlier, and now Riku Nishida.
So a pitching change here at McKeon Park as the Harbor Hawks, with one out here in the bottom of the 8th inning, have the tying run aboard. You're not going to want to go anywhere. Hawks trail 2. Go ahead and run at the plate when we return on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
Diet Coke? Who are you, my mom?
You should be so lucky, because you know what moms do? Well, I suppose we should start with the whole giving you life thing. It seems like that should be enough. No? Okay. What about her ability to send shockwaves through the neighborhood without saying a word? Or whip up a ridiculous handmade costume that you forgot to tell her about? Not to make you happy, but because she had a reputation to uphold. She invented rideshare, called it carpool, and did it for free. She didn't need those dating apps either. You copied her jeans, her spin, her shoes, her scrunchie, and whether you realize it or not, her music.
Why not?
Oh, and she can win any argument in 4 words.
Because I said so.
Everything you're trying to do, she's already done. Did it better, and she did it with a Diet Coke in her hand. So, drink what your mama gave you.
That chip on the shoulder, that started at a very, very young age. People's expectations are, they're cool, they're fun, but mine are bigger.
When you play in New York, they want to see winners. It doesn't matter if it's a Monday or a Friday or a Saturday. You got to come with it, or those fans will let you know.
Pick one thing from me, pick one other thing from another player, make it your own, you turn to who you want to be.
What motivates me is the unknown. You know, how good can I be? You get away from the lights, you get away from the camera.
Mientras más presente yo esté en la caja de batería, más éxito tengo.
Man, how can you not keep it fun, man? This is a kid's game.
If you could go back and tell 10-year-old Francisco one thing, what would it be?
Be a bad mother.
Well, if you like baseball, you like good baseball games, and you like close baseball games, we have all of that for you here in the bottom of the 8th inning on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Austin Nakuda, Zach Berman, and Bria Losick ready to take you through what has been an eventful start to the bottom of the 8th. Hyannis came into the inning trailing 3-1. Just one run through their first 7 innings, but a leadoff strikeout didn't hold them back at all as Riku Nishida drops a beautiful bunt single, steals second base, Mitch Jebb walks, and then Riku steals third on the walk, which puts runners at the corners and 1 out for Mike Sirota as they got to face a new pitcher by the name of Levi Wells.
Third straight pitcher that Falmouth has thrown from a Texas school. Weird stat, but Wells has been quite good, though.
It's worked for them so far. Jebb may be off soon, off at first base. Sarota swings to the first pitch, and he drops it into right field for a base hit. Nishida's going to come home. Jebb goes to second, and Mike Sarota with a big single to bring home a run, and the Hawks have the winning run ahead.
I like the decision there from Jebb not to run, as he was waiting to see if it was going to drop, and it did. So Riku Nishida really just manufactured that run all the way through. Mike Sirota, first RBI as a Harbor Hawk, and now you have possibly the hottest hitter on this team with a chance to really deliver a signature moment in this season.
The tying run on second, the go-ahead run on first, both with good speed for Cole McConnell at the dish. He's had a couple of big hits late. A tying solo shot against Katuitt as he goes after that one but comes up empty. And a little bit before that, a game at home against YD on July 3rd, which saw a little bit of everything, including a Cole McConnell 2 RBI double to give his team the lead. We'll see what Cole has in the bat here. Hawks down 3-2, 1 out in the inning. Here comes the pitch. Wells finds the zone with a strike, 0-2 to McConnell. And Zach, even down 3-1, It never felt like the Hawks were out of this game, and they're showing you just that.
They're never out of one until it's the bottom of the ninth, and there's three
Exactly,
outs. Or the lights go out.
Yeah.
Some places. Or there's no lights.
Nobody holding Sirota off of first. Jeb with a small lead so far off second. I don't know about a double steal. It'd be risky. But the two runners certainly have the speed to advance on a pass ball, one in the dirt.
I'm not against it, but you have to wait and see what plays out.
Wells comes set. The 0-2 to McConnell impending. Here's the knee kick and the pitch, and McConnell comes up empty. He strikes out.
Wow, that's a big recovery there for Levi Wells. You allow the hit to go within a run, and now you're one out away from getting out of this thing, and it rests to the bat of Christian Moore.
Christian Moore here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and we got to remember the Hawks still have 3 outs to work with in the bottom of the 9th inning if needed. So Moore looking to help his team out here. First and second, 2 outs. Tying run on second base, go ahead run on first. Here's the first pitch from Wells to Moore. Called strike on the outside corner. Moore is 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. See what he can do here as the Tennessee star, the second baseman, corner outfielder. Wells comes set, showing just a bit of the stir up, brings home the 0-1. Further outside this time, it's called the ball 1-1.
At the very least, if you're Moore, you want the chance to bring Dom Patelli, who has been so good. Hasn't really contributed much today, but in recent days he's been great. You want to bring Patelli to the plate with the bases loaded, at the very least.
Hawks have chipped away at the lead, now within a run. Here's the 1-1 to Christian Moore. Fouls it off, he's behind 1-2, but it was a good-looking swing at least.
Absolutely, and Moore just missed a home run by a couple feet last night in Chatham. You don't have to try for that right here. You have a lot of space in the gap, and a gapper is going to score both runners.
1-2, 2 down. Jeb gets his lead off second. Sirota off of first. The ballpark coming to life a bit as they try to will their Harbor Hawks towards a victory. Appears that Ty Langenberg is the right-handed arm throwing in the Harbor Hawks arm barn. Here's the 1-2 to Moore. Breaking ball, and Christian Moore strikes out swinging. The Hawks strand runners on first and second, but they do push across a run, so that means they're within 1. 3-2 the score as Falmouth leads it as we head to the final frame on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
Traffic is treacherous. There's a fender bender on the pike. Gonna be a wicked commute. The expressway's backed up to the gas tanks. Gridlock. Crawl. Snarl. Jam up. Bottleneck. Log jam. 128 is a parking lot. You'll be late for supper tonight.
Keeping your car road ready is what we do best. At Sullivan Tire, we're always here to get you there.
Hey, we get you there too.
Choosing T-Mobile is like paying for this, but getting that. And so much more. More 5G bars in more places. More savings so your family saves 20% versus the other guys. And we won't raise the price of your rate plan with our price lock guarantee. Get more with T-Mobile. More 5G coverage, more savings, and even more cool stuff. When Alaska Airlines needed a partner for the complex operations of travel, they made the switch to T-Mobile. Our 5G has Alaska Airlines and their customers covered, from major hubs to remote destinations, with 5G coverage ready now for the demands of today and the future. T-Mobile's network powers Alaska Airlines as they deliver next-level care for all customers. 5G ready now. That's how unconventional thinking is better for business.
Tastes like a Coke.
We nailed it!
Coke Zero Sugar. Have they nailed it?
Sounds like they really nailed it, huh?
Nailed it. And that's when you said... So it really tastes like a Coke.
Yeah, that's the point.
33, Jacob Walsh.
Ninth inning ready to go here at McKeon Park as Ty Langenberg, who some have called the Harbor Hawks' most reliable reliever, will enter the ball game and look to keep the Commodores at bay and keep his team within a run. The Harbor Hawks have scratched and clawed their way back. Langenberg this season, 10 2/3, 19 punch-outs. He has a 3.37 ERA, which is a bit misleading, Zach, because he's been so dominant all year. It was just a little bit of an implosion against Bourne at home recently that cost him some runs.
That wasn't just a Ty Langenberg implosion. I'd say that was a team-wide implosion.
Yeah, the 11 runs scored by the Braves in the 9th inning a few days ago. Well, they've bounced back very strong since that struggling game on, what was that, July 17th?
I think, no, that was July 9th.
July 17th has not happened yet.
Oh, man.
Looking a little bit to the future.
Okay, since that game.
That's what I meant. July 9th,
A win against Orleans, a tie at Cotuit, a tie at Chatham.
Huh. The 1-1 to Walsh and a big swing and a miss. 1-2. That's the Langenberg changeup. Throws it as high as 89, something he's working to slow down a bit, take a couple miles per hour off of it. He can get it down to 86. Here comes the 1-2 to Walsh. Langenberg gets him to roll over on it to second base. Riku Nishida is there. He tosses on to first, and that's out number 1 of the 9th inning.
Well, that's a Ty Langenberg we're used to seeing.
The catcher from Oregon.
Easy, simple, slider, 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 and you're either going to get a weak ground ball or a strikeout out of it.
So the Hawks, after today's game, will hit the road once again and head to Wareham tomorrow night for a 5 p.m. first pitch at Spillane Field, followed up by a 6:30 first pitch on Saturday at Orleans. A couple of road games before the Harbor Hawks return home for 2 in a row.
Three technical home games in a row. Just one of them happens to be in Hartford.
Here comes the 0-1. That one misses low, 1-1 the count.
And if you're a Hawks fan or you're supporting this team but maybe don't live anywhere in the area and want to get out and see the guys, 11 a.m. first pitch on Wednesday at Dunkin' Donuts Park, beautiful ballpark, in Hartford, Connecticut.
Langenberg gets the signs, and now we'll bring home the 1-1 to Cromwick, and it's a fastball, just misses the corner, 2-1.
No, I can promise that was not a specific plea to any of my friends in the New York area.
No?
No, it might have been for a few.
Dunkin' Donuts Park, the home for the game Wednesday, July 20th.
Home of the Yad Goats.
That's them. 11 a.m. first pitch as the Hawks and the YD Red Sox will do battle. Should be a fun one. Here comes the 2-1. Langenberg delivers a breaking ball, called strike. There's the slider from Ty, and now the count moves to 2-2. Cromwick's had himself quite the day at the dish. He's 2 for 3. A pair of singles, also walked and drove in a run. But skies that one, shallow infield. Riku runs in, makes the call for it, loses the hat, makes the catch for out number 2.
Well, it doesn't look like Falmouth is anybody warming, so it's going to be Levi Wells' game to finish.
And why not? I mean, besides the single to Sirota, he really locked it down, a couple of strikeouts. So for the Hawks,
right,
1 out away from getting to the bottom of the 9th inning and bringing the first guy to the plate, which would be the tying run if he can hold it where it is. 1-0 the count now to Drew Brutcher, who's 1 for 4 with an RBI single tonight.
Well, you look at the bottom of the 9th, and I'll get to that after this pitch.
2-0.
You look at the bottom of the 9th, your first 2 guys up are Patelli and Pepe, and both of them have homered recently. Pepe's homered today.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of guys you want on in that spot, I'd say. Patelli has the speed, too. Here's a 2-0. That misses outside. Now, Ty Langenberg, really one of the top relievers in the entire league. It's worked quickly so far, but now behind 3-0 to Drew Brutcher. Here's the windup and the 3-0. Fastball, called strike. Coming up this weekend, or not this weekend, but just soon enough will be the All-Star game.
Hopefully they get
next
the lights
weekend.
working
Yep.
at Wareham.
July 23rd, the 3-1. Brutcher fouls it off, and I was going to say on July 23rd, that All-Star game, maybe Ty Langenberg's a guy you see there, Bria?
I could definitely see it. I mean, like you said, besides that Bourne performance, he's been lights out.
I think we'll see a couple Harbor Hawks out there for sure.
Mitch Jebb comes to mind, but for now, here's the 3-2 from Langenberg, and a swing and a miss. Ty Langenberg, 1-2-3. Thanks for coming. He gives the Hawks a chance to stay in this game and possibly walk it off. They are down 3-2. As we head to the bottom of the 9th inning on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
When Alaska Airlines needed a partner for the complex operations of travel, they made the switch to T-Mobile. Our 5G has Alaska Airlines and their customers covered, from major hubs to remote destinations, with 5G coverage ready now for the demands of today and the future. T-Mobile's network powers Alaska Airlines as they deliver next-level care for all customers. 5G ready now. That's how unconventional thinking is better for business.
This BBB seal is a badge of honor. It's a sign that this is a business you can trust.
Hi. Oh, this is amazing.
Each year, millions of people see the BBB seal on a door or a window or a website and breathe a little easier. See the seal and know you've made the right choice. Find a business you can trust. Ask BBB.
If you live here, fun is your thing. If you live here, tough is your thing. Smart is your thing. Caring is your thing. If you live in Massachusetts, community is your thing. Since 1972, the Massachusetts State Lottery has provided over $25 billion to help cities and towns with the things they need most. If you live here, giving is your thing.
Well, as Gonna Fly Now, the Rocky theme song, plays throughout McKeon Park, the Harbor Hawks could use some heroics here. And Bria, that song's one you're familiar with, one you can play on the clarinet.
That's correct.
Wow. You learn something new every day. Bria Losick, our sideline reporter / color commentator, can play the clarinet. First pitch to Patelli, fouled off. So big stakes here for the Hawks, as if they can somehow scratch out a win here, they take sole possession of first place in the West Division. But if Zach Berman, if they get a tie, that gives them a point, and they're tied with Katuitt for first.
At the very least, a run grants you a share of first place. And walk-off home runs. Already won in the league tonight. Board a walk-off grand slam against Chatham.
Jeez. Busy night in the Cape Cod Baseball League. 1-1 the count to Patelli. Wells brings home the pitch. Patelli watches it for a called strike. A little bit low. The Harbor Hawk dugout, not a fan of that one, but Dom Patelli gonna have to protect now on 1 and 2. He's got the power to tie this thing up with one swing of the bat. We'll see where Wells goes to now. Here's the windup and the 1-2. Patelli watches it outside, 2-2.
Well, it's not just the power for Patelli. If he gets on in any way, shape, or form, how many times have we seen Dom Patelli score from first without a ball being put in play?
The speed, you never know what can happen once you get a man on. Here comes the 2-2 from Wells. Fastball cut on and miss. Great pitch there by Levi Wells, and he retires the leadoff man and moves his Commodores within 2 outs of a win.
That takes some guts there from Levi Wells. Going fastball down the middle, simply overpowering Patelli. You know, just pin your ears back and let it fly. But here's the man that already juiced one over the fence earlier today.
Rocco Pepe, 1 for 3 with that solo shot to left. See if he's got any more magic left in that bat. Here's the first pitch from Wells, breaking ball at the eyes, ball 1.
Ooh, I wouldn't throw a breaking ball.
Yeah,
if I'm Wells, I go fastball, 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 fastball.
And Rocco has punished breaking balls all season. Here comes the 1-0. Fastball, hit on the ground to second. Slow roll to Nicholas. The throw to first is in time.
Okay, pinch hitter time, not Pancho. Jorge Corona.
Well, this is a big spot for the newbie. Guy who just got in a couple of days ago on Monday. Made his debut last night in Chatham. And now Jorge Corona, a guy who blasted 16 home runs at LA Tech in the spring, has a massive bat at the plate. Will be entrusted to try to keep this game alive. With 2 down in the bottom of the 9th inning, his Harbor Hawks trail a run.
Corona had his first hit on Cape Cod last night in Chatham. in this past season at Louisiana Tech. 16 homers, 62 RBIs. He certainly is capable of tying this game with one swing of the bat.
I think this tells you a little bit about how Coach Beatty feels about Corona's bat. Pinch hitting him already this early in his Harbor Hawk career. First pitch is a ball. Corona would be quite the story if he can get on here, or even do further damage.
Well, if he gets on, it's Phil Matulia, and if Matulia gets on, it's Riku.
Here's the 1-0 to Corona. In the dirt for a ball, 2-0 to the LA Tech Bulldog. Corona's teammate, Phil Matulia, on deck. Bulldogs together at LA Tech. And the third Bulldog, Cole McConnell, saw him earlier. There was a fourth, Jonathan Fincher, but he made his starts and has headed home as Corona pops it up. Over to the left side, it's Halter moves under it, but it's Mooney who makes the call and the catch to end the ball game as Falmouth comes into Hyannis and comes away with a 3-2 victory. And a big win if you're a Falmouth fan, but a tough loss if you're a Harbor Hawk fan. 3-2 the final, 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Falmouth, 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Harbor Hawks, and unfortunately they come up just a run short.
It feels like a missed opportunity, yes. With Katuitt losing, it doesn't sting as much because you're still effectively in the same spot tomorrow that you are in right now, but you have to give credit where credit is due. It's the Falmouth bullpen that really shut down a good Harbor Hawk lineup, and especially Levi Wells comes in bottom of the 8th, 2 on, 1 out in a 1-run game, and slams the door. But for the Harbor Hawks, you just got to put tonight behind you.
Well, the Harbor Hawks, unfortunately, can't come away with a win here. We'll hit the road for the next 2 tomorrow night at Wareham, a 5 p.m. first pitch. But before we wrap things up here at McKeon Park, time to pick a Roll-A-Bump Limited Player of the Game, and I'm going to nominate Zach Volker, the starter, who in 5 innings allowed 3 hits, 2 runs that were not marked as earned runs. So essentially 5 innings of nearly perfect baseball. Are we in agreement on Mr. Volker?
I second that, Mr. Dakuta.
All right.
I will third it with an honorable mention to Wes Burton.
An honorable mention to Wes Burton, who unfortunately had to throw more pitches than he would have liked as he walked the bases loaded, but did get a couple of big punch-outs to work a scoreless inning and keep the Commodore bats at bay. But tonight's Roll-A-Bump Limited Player of the Game, Zach Volker, the starter, goes 5 innings, just 2 unearned runs, and kept his team in it. But unfortunately, the Hawks fall short tonight at McKeon Park and drop a game to the Commodores by a score of 3-2. And that will wrap things up from the Tim Elstrom broadcast booth. And for our producers, Abby Stokes and Ella Gibson, Mike Maynard as well, for our director of broadcasting, Harrison Myers, and our silent reporter, Bria Losick, and my color commentators, Zach Berman and Bria Losick again, as well as Drake Toll, who's listening at home. This is Austin Dakuta saying thank you for listening, and go Hawks.